I'm back. So the Acolyte is out, and in true Star Wars fashion, it's a double episode premiere.
It's worked so well for them in the past.
Because they don't write good first episodes. So they're like, if we give them 2...
It's like they can't even get permission from Disney to do a first episode that's like an hour and a half, like a mini movie.
Honestly,
a feature-length premiere.
Combine them and then it'll feel better. It's the main problem with all of their stuff. It's just the structure's terrible. I think it's the 8 episodes. Game of Thrones always did 10, and that always just worked out so well. And as soon as Game of Thrones started doing 8 episodes, it felt rushed and clustered and it didn't feel good. Because, like, how do you break up 8 episodes into a good story? You do 2 episodes for your intro, 4 episodes of boringness in the middle, and then a 2-episode finale, really.
Yeah.
Like, that's what it always ends up
one
being.
of those has to be like a flashback episode as well.
Especially because we have a backstory of the show.
We have a backstory in this.
We're getting a flashback
Take me back to the times of 23 episodes a season, and it's 45-minute episodes.
Yeah, I love old shows.
You could just be stuck in it forever.
22 episodes is how you get attached to characters.
Yeah.
But let's talk about the actual episode. What were your initial thoughts? What did you think about the Acolyte?
I think the lady who used to corral people for Harvey Weinstein did a good job. No, I don't know. I'm so torn. I don't know how I feel about this. Like, I'm kind of caught in the middle. I'm a bit of both worlds. I'm a bit of May and I'm a little bit of Osha. I don't know how to feel about this. This is a really good space show.
Oh, you're in the doesn't feel like Star Wars camp?
Yeah. And I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry. And I know someone in the comments is going to say, maybe it's because they don't all look like you for a change. Which it is very noticeable, but only because I'm looking for it.
No white people for 20 minutes in the first episode. Sorry, no white men.
How come there's no white people except for space rapists and...
I don't know if we would notice if it wasn't already pointed out, though.
I was noticing it. But we had our time in the sun, so...
You see, I'm willing to sacrifice the white men in this episode.
Yeah.
Because it gave me a lot of aliens.
Yes,
and that's something that Star Wars never has enough of except in the movies. In the movies, they walk into a cantina and it's all aliens.
Yeah.
Whereas in Obi-Wan Kenobi, usually they'd walk in and it's like, it's a whole bar full of people. Like even Andor, everyone's favorite Star Wars, did too many human people because aliens are expensive. I get that. And this show has money. They built sets. It feels a little bit like the Disney kebab shop from Galaxy's Edge.
Well, I don't remember how many aliens we had in Ahsoka. I know there was like a few on like the council and like the people she had to report to, but there was like such limited screen time for aliens. And we didn't get to see many aliens up close like this. I feel like this does a good job at that.
Yeah.
We see some...
I mean, there's more aliens than there are humans for most of it, and I'm okay with that. That's exactly
Except they took away the Korean accents.
Our Nemoidians.
The Nemoidians.
Our Nemoidians that are in this
There was a
episode.
Nemoidian woman, and I was like, here it comes. And she's like, oh, there's somebody that needs to da-da-da. And I'm like, that's not racist enough.
They just talk like normal people. It feels strange, and
They're from Space Korea, damn it.
But it is weird because like then no one has like there is no dialects anymore. Every time they speak English, they just speak with normal.
Everyone speaks in like an American accent.
Yeah, that's one thing that felt weird about this show. A lot of American accents. Star Wars to me is so British. Like there's always British actors doing it, and everyone's very British. But in this, it felt very American. But that was something that I guess George Lucas did to make it feel more alien or make it feel more high fantasy, was make everyone British, because that's a shortcut.
It's like
to doing
make the elves English, make the dwarves Scottish. But there was a little like Australian girl maybe, or like Cockney, the one who like got the robots.
Yeah.
She's like, oi, look at me, robot.
And the possible Kiwi.
And I was like, hey.
Kiwi fat Jedi.
She sounds like me.
The show has a plot.
It does.
And
it's really trying, at least.
It's okay. It doesn't have a plot so much as it has a premise. It's very open-ended currently, but it feels pretty thin. It's almost like it doesn't feel like there's too much to talk about because it's like, oh, what happened? They picked up a girl, they went to a planet, and she saw her sister and went, sister, and there was like 3 fights.
Yeah. Yeah, so we got Trinity, we had the one with Soul, and then there must have been one more somewhere in there, at least a little bit.
She was trying to punch through a Jedi Force field.
Yeah.
But our lead character is, we meet May first. We meet the evil twin sister, May. This is going to include spoilers because if you've watched it, you've watched it. If you're not going to watch it, you're not going to watch it.
Also, and I know what you're saying, you're in my feed. I must be subscribed to you. You're not. Please press the button.
On that note, thank you for 1,000. It's
Yay.
very, very cool of you.
Very cool.
Keep it up. So we meet May first, the evil twin, and she's on a mission to kill Jedi. That's pretty much all we know. She goes in and she Palpatine's a bunch of dumbass Jedi. I don't know if they were Jedi. I guess none of them drew sabers.
She's just sitting at a bar. I think they're just like regular.
But they tried to defend her, I guess. I don't know.
What do you mean Palpatine's people?
Do you remember when Mace Windu goes to confront Palpatine and he walks in and then Palpatine does the 720 flip and then just immediately kills 3 Jedi and it's like because they wanted a 1v1?
Yeah.
She does that. Like everyone is just so stupid except Indara to the point where like some guy's trying to get a gun.
My favorite part is my favorite trope is has guy in headlock looks at somebody like this.
But yeah, she confronts Indara and she's like, come at me with all your might. And Indara's like, no, I'm a Jedi. I don't do that.
It comes off a little bit cringy, but I think it's supposed to be.
It was gross dialogue.
She's like, I need you to attack me with all of your might.
Yeah, it felt like a Chinese film, which maybe they were trying to do the whole, like, it's a kung fu film with bad dubbing.
All the people at the table laugh at her because, like, it's, like, obviously, like, she sounds like a freaking kid.
Yeah, she comes across like a child.
But still, it's like, she keeps up that energy.
She's an edgy teen.
They could have made her at least a bit more badass.
Yeah, she comes across as annoying. I mean, she does technically get her butt kicked by Indara at least, so they haven't made her OP. She wins because she fights dirty and because Indara is a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
Because Trinity was in all of the marketing for this.
Yeah.
Like, she was in fucking everything.
She's been doing interviews and stuff as well.
And she's in one fight scene. She might come back. You know, Anakin fell into lava and was fine.
Yeah.
So after Anakin blew up the Death Star.
Look and see that Anakin blowing up the Death Star possibly killed millions and millions of people.
You should just shut up. You should shut up. I love you. You should shut up.
She only got stabbed in the chest with a regular blade.
Through the heart, Osborne. The heart. She just immediately, like, she's dead within 5 minutes. And then we cut to the nice twin sister.
She's, laying low, working as a...
Not laying low, just she needed a paycheck.
But, like, she's trying to get as far away from Coruscant as possible.
Yeah.
Like, they mentioned that, like, wow, can't get any further away from Coruscant as this place.
And she's a mechanic because having Anakin being good at building things and having Rey good at building things wasn't enough.
And also, you need a reason for her to have a little droid companion.
We've got
Sell
to get
him,
those
damn it!
Toys. It was annoying because I immediately loved the little droid Pip. Like, they got me with their little marketing thing immediately. I'm like, you bastards.
He's a welder. He's a fire extinguisher. He's a
space
screwdriver.
fire
He's a little
extinguisher.
laser
He's a
thing.
Break out of prison thing.
He's a sonic screwdriver.
He is. I like that he can't move on his own at least.
And he's your best friend.
And best friend. The leading thing you look for in a droid.
Actually, murderous intent is what you look for in a
In an
a
R2
good
unit.
droid.
Yes. If this droid isn't willing to commit war crimes, I'm not bringing it on the mission.
We meet our titular main character, Osha, who is brought into custody by the Jedi because someone who looks exactly like her committed a crime.
Who could it be?
Her, I guess.
Oh, yeah, it must be. Even though everyone knows she has a twin sister and they bring that up like a scene later. So it was left out of the archives.
Only everybody who knows her at the Jedi Temple on Coruscant knows that.
But basically, they arrest her.
Yod and his Padawan put her onto a robot-operated transport back to Coruscant.
They don't bring her back.
An unmanned
she murdered a Jedi, and these guys just put her on a ship and left her.
Yeah. I hope Yod doesn't get the rank of Master.
I hope Yod dies. Yod fucking sucks. But we'll get to him.
They gave him a cool haircut and a yellow lightsaber.
The one thing I loved from that scene was the robots that fly the ship.
They like turn into a chair. That's so cool.
That was so good. That's the annoying thing about this show. It's like it's not good yet, I guess, but they've done a lot of really fun things. So it's like
ship designs are cool.
Yeah, ships look cool. It looks really quite nice overall.
The costumes for the aliens look good.
Aliens all look good. The barkeeper, I was like, damn, this bitch photo real. Like, probably because he's not human, so he's not uncanny, but they've put money in the show. It just kind of falls in the meh category. Like, it didn't offend me apart because I don't really care. There's no white men in it because I got my aliens. I'm happy.
Yeah. I mean, because you as a ginger identify closer
as
to
an alien.
An alien.
I'm subhuman as is.
I like the costuming, except for I don't like the
yellow robes.
the Coruscant Jedi robes.
Yeah.
Like we see like the Jedi and like the local Jedi temple, like the Jedi just wears brown robes with the white garment underneath. It looks so clean.
I wonder whether it was just like, oh, it's 100 years ago. We need to make it look different. Make them wear piss yellow.
But like it just looks so clean, like classic Jedi robes with like a brown thing and the white underneath. It looks so good. But I was just like, I guess it looks okay.
It doesn't look like cosplay. which is always a worry with Star Wars stuff. Like if it's done badly, like Netflix Avatar looked awful because they all looked prim and proper, but here it kind of works.
Well, it's like a time of peace, I guess. Like they're all like they've.
But it looks like he wears it every day still. I don't know. Maybe it just feels more natural.
Well, you see Yod, he's like steaming his stuff, keeping it nice and clean and straight.
We do get our
showing
random,
off his jacked body.
We get our random skinny boy thirst trap.
Put your clothes on, Yod.
There's sexual tension there. It's gonna happen.
She may be 15.
Osha is not only the good twin, she's a Jedi Padawan 6 years ago. I didn't know you could just leave the order, but I guess that's fine. They don't seem to mind.
I think they wanted her gone, so I think they were fine with her leaving.
It sounded like it, yeah. So I guess there's some mystery there.
They were saying that Trinity from the Matrix wanted her gone.
Yes.
And they were like, maybe that's your reason for killing her.
The blandest of reasons.
Correct.
But yeah, the ship she's on crashes through shenanigans.
And then all of our main characters, Soul from Squid Games, Yod, and X-23 all go on like a little rescue mission to the ice planet to save her, where she's having...
Oh, the ice planet that they put the little logo up. Quick note on that. Every planet we go to gets a title card.
Thanks, Avengers 2.
Because this is the Marvel Universe. It's annoying when they did Coruscant. I don't mind... I didn't mind it as much on like the random snow planet. But usually when they cut to a new planet, they've literally just said the name of the planet.
Yeah.
Like Soul's like, oh, I'm going to go to Snow Planet. And then it cuts to and says Snow Planet. And I'm like, okay. Is this designed so I can be on my phone and be like, where are we? Oh, yeah, cool. Like, it just feels stupid. But the annoying one was when they cut to Coruscant, the most recognizable planet in the Star Wars franchise, and it says, immediately, Coruscant. And I'm like, cool. I'm an idiot, apparently. Like, imagine in episode 5 if it came up with Hoth.
Also, there's some dialogue at the very start where Osha and another mechanic are like fixing something, and they're like, oh, the humans are disposable, the gas bags. It's like, we can hear you. And it's like, oh, embarrassing.
He's behind me, isn't he?
I was like, that's fucking cringe. So some of the dialogue is cringy.
And the way everyone's talking, it probably doesn't feel Star Wars. That's part of it.
Yeah.
But like the Jedi are talking very, very formal. It's like they've gone overboard
I want to slap
prestigious
Yod
Jedi
every time he speaks, especially in those opening scenes. Like, I get it. He's just gotten the rank of knight and he's like, I guess a goody two-shoes character.
He thinks he's superior now.
But he's like, I don't know. He just like acts so robotic.
I hope he's unlikable for a reason. If he's just unlikable because they're terrible at writing, that'll suck. But if I'm meant to not like him, then that's okay.
I think they're trying to show the difference between like a Jedi Knight and like a Jedi Master. Like, you know how X-23 walks in on Soul and he's like watching old pictures of Osha, whatever, and she's like, why do you have pictures of that? You know that force that causes this and that can sway your emotions. Like, it's like, I feel like Yod and X-23 and like they're going to show that like that generation of Jedi, or like, the Padawans and the Knights are like so stuck to like the code, make sure I follow it. But then the Masters, I guess, like Soul, or maybe they're trying to show how mature Soul is, who are like, no. You can have these things, you need to reflect on them and like understand how they can affect you. And that's what makes you like truly great.
Well, Soul is the Qui-Gon Jinn.
Yes.
He's the grey. He's like not quite a rule follower, but it feels like they're going too far. Like the reason the Jedi fell is because of their hubris, and like they thought they were too hoity-toity. They were bureaucrats by the end of it. And I think this show is like overcorrected to be like, see, they were hoity-toity. So everyone's talking like a wanker now.
Yeah.
I don't like sand.
It just feels unnatural.
They go to the ice planet. They rescue Osha, who is seeing visions of her, who she thinks is a dead sister.
Yes, a dead twin sister.
Who tells her, I'm alive and I'm killing the Jedi. And she's like, oh my God.
Which is just straight up like a way to tell this character that her sister's alive.
Yeah.
Which then later on, when she discovers her sister's alive, it's not really a surprise or anything. It's just like, yep, saw that.
Because also, how original. Two people who are maybe twins connected in the Force. We've never seen that before. Luke and Leia, Rey and Kylo. Those two guys from that
cool as hell
cinematic. And then now these two. It's like, this isn't an original premise. I know what they're going for. Light side, dark side, twins, connection through the Force. But that whole thing has been done before. I think the way they did it with like her, like she was knocked out, I think, in seeing her little sister's ghost, or she like wakes up and whatever. I think they should have lent way more into that. Like, we'll talk about this later on, maybe like what I want to do with it, but they should have kept the fact that she didn't know her sister was alive yet, or no one knew her sister was alive yet, but her sister was like communicating through her, and she doesn't know if she's talking to a ghost or a real.
Yeah. And also they believe her immediately, like, because she thinks her sister's alive, and because Sol knew she had a sister, he's like, oh, it wasn't this chick, but someone that looks like her is trying to kill people.
Yeah.
It was her sister. That's the mystery behind it, because they say at the beginning that the evil sister burnt down killed the whole family.
She caused a fire that did it,
But then they say later on it wasn't her, and it was the Jedi or something. Like, they're trying to do intrigue, but they only just touch on it, and it doesn't feel like this 2-episode premiere gets enough into it to have me hooked.
Yeah.
Like, it's not the ending of Invincible Season 1, where Omni-Man slaughters everyone, and you're like, nothing that big happens that you need to know why. It's just kind of like, they allude to something a little bit, and I'm not overly interested.
They don't go enough into what happened, nor do they go enough into the people who caused it for it to kind of grab you. It's like they want us to start snowballing ourselves. No, you guys need to start the snowball.
Well, Indara was alive for 2 minutes, and she didn't really say anything apart from when she saw the scar or like, the tattoo.
And then Master Torbjorn is like, I'm so sorry. And then, so it's like, we need a bit more.
Yeah, and I have the guess that either the Jedi are super evil to make, or like, they did something horrible to make the bad guy look like a good guy, whereas it's not going to add up to that.
Yeah.
Like, Torbjorn kills himself. I almost guarantee that whatever they did on the planet isn't worth him going in a fake coma for 10 years and then killing himself.
Yeah. He was like, I think it's like a 10-year meditation or whatever. Also, shouldn't there be some kind of Jedi holy place that he should be doing his 10-year silence?
Just local Jedi outpost.
Just in a room that no one can ever use ever again.
That was like some guy's bedroom, and he's like, fuck, man.
He's like, fuck, he started meditating. We can't move him.
For 10 years?
10 years.
They can't even get to him. He's got a force field.
Is he shitting and farting?
Oh, God. Did he stop shitting and farting?
It's like a bear. He ate a bunch of like dry grass to clog himself up. I haven't done enough reading into this show, so maybe they've like explained it enough. I doubt it. But I think the bad guy isn't a bad guy at all. I think they're a neutral side.
Yes, I reckon the bad guy is the green woman.
I think they're going to say at some point, no, we are the true balance to the Force.
From what I've seen from Leslie Headland, the showrunner.
Harvey Weinstein's
from what I've seen from Harvey Weinstein's alleged ex-apprentice. Her whole thing was, we want to make the Sith look like the underdogs.
Yeah.
Because when you flip it, like, Star Wars is about underdogs, is what she says. So when I make the Sith the underdogs, then the Jedi become the bad guys. So that's going to be her whole thing. So instead of just showing the order of the Jedi being condescending or like self-absorbed or something like that, that's why I feel like they're going to overcorrect and the Jedi will have done something horrible so that the bad guy isn't the bad guy. And that's not flipping the script. That's not doing anything interesting. That's just making the bad guys, they were Jedi. Like, oh, wow.
See, I think it's fucked up that, look, you can't have a show that stars both of them and have them both be the heroes, because that isn't what Star Wars is supposed to be.
You've forgotten. Modern bad guys can't be bad guys.
I know.
They'll have to be misunderstood.
It's my biggest thing that I freaking hate with modern writing.
And it's not even just like, they had good reasons to do what they did. So they're a good guy in their mind. They're a good guy in our mind too.
Yeah. She doesn't kill the kid in the bar at the start. And she's like, okay. Whereas any OG Sith would have been like, nope.
Yep. And then you have the trouble of like redeeming them. Like, they were hurt. Like, Anakin does a small genocide to the Sand people.
The Sand women and the Sand children too.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And we're still like, but he was angry. Like, they did a bad thing.
Yeah.
He did a bad thing. It bounces out. Whereas this is like...
And he's not even a Sith. He's a Jedi who acts in anger. This is a bad person.
That we think.
Well, we don't.
Oh. But that's what I mean. Like, she's redeemable without even having done anything wrong.
Something's going to happen and she's going to justify her actions and someone's going to go, well, that kind of makes sense.
We'll have to have someone actually say it out loud because we're on our phones and we're like,
it doesn't make sense.
Because we're stupid now. But the rest of the show, I mean, honestly, we accidentally covered everything except the actual plot, because Evil Sister goes to kill another Jedi. We find out a little bit about the Master. Not really. We find out she has a Master, I guess, who has a red lightsaber because evil.
And a mask because evil.
And a mask because we got to make people think it's Starkiller. Then they show up to stop her. they're too late. He gets poisoned. Or sorry, he kills himself with
Kills
poison
himself.
because Vietnam flashback. And then we get our second fight scene in 2 episodes. That's basically the same fight scene again. If anything, they down the ante.
Well, yeah, because they took away May's weapon, so there isn't that she's gonna like mix combos and then out of nowhere throw a dagger, which has to be force stopped.
And there's no surrounding people. Like, the bar was full of other people. So if anything, the fight in the first 2 minutes of the show is more interesting than the fight in the second episode.
Well, it's gotta draw you in. It's gotta keep you there.
And it doesn't.
You know,
We're going to get one kung fu fight per episode. Turns out they couldn't catch her because they're incompetent. Because Fat Kiwi Jedi, he's probably not even Kiwi. He's definitely fat though. A girl comes to talk to him, so he stops looking at Jason from The Good Place and is like, oh, hey. And then they sneak out and he's like, golly gosh, like, escape.
we lost him.
And then they run to, and it's like, these people are incompetent now because they need to be for the show.
Yeah, the show's just like, oh, what can we do? It's like my biggest fucking annoyance with how May leaves that fight is we have a Jedi Knight and a Jedi Master, okay? And Sol has shown how adept he is in the Force. He can read people's minds. May looks at the ground and I'm like, she's gonna fucking cause a dust storm.
She's going to pocket sand.
She forces the ground, dust goes everywhere, and they're like, whoa, we lost her. Do you remember fucking episode 4? And I don't care that Luke was the fucking chosen one. He puts on the shield thing and he's deflecting, or he's at least trying to deflect the thing.
Yes.
The Force.
They don't have to lose
You don't
her.
need your eyes. And there's blind Jedi.
Yeah, but they got sand in their eyes.
They all stand in their eyes.
But also, she doesn't get far away. Like, they show her just like running down the alley.
Yeah.
And these people are like, oh, and they have like a ship above that's like, I lost her. Like, so there's a smoke storm here. And like, he would have just seen her run. It's, yes, people are incompetent. And then the sisters see each
they
other from a
shouldn't
distance
be.
and they go pew pew. And they end on not a cliffhanger or anything. It's like she gets away and she's going to go fight the Wookiee Jedi. I don't know. I feel like if you're going to do a 2-episode premiere, it needs to end with something that's going to bring me back for next week.
Yeah.
Instead, it's just they show a Wookiee on a Dagobah from Timu, and then he just walks into his shack.
He uses the Force on some guy's gun, breaks it, and then roars at him. And then he's like,
Am I supposed to squeal that there's a Wookiee? Like,
how I wanted that episode to end. Picture it. They go into the ship to get the hyperdrive. It's pitch black in there. They're like, blimey, I can't see a bloody thing, whatever they say. And then it's like, can you turn on a light? And then all of a sudden you just see bzzz, and then you just see a Wookiee's face behind it. And then it's just outside of the ship. You don't see anything, and all you hear is gzz, 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 gzz. And that would have been freaking badass.
but would that have made you want to come back next week? What did you think of the Force Foo?
Force Foo was kind of cool.
It just felt like the Matrix to me.
It did just feel
it's
like we were in
weird
the
that it's
Matrix.
also that the 2 fights are both Force Foo, which made it feel like that's the only fighting style that they do nowadays. Like, you could cut off her arms or something. I don't know. And neither Jedi bring out their lightsabers initially, and they just they Matrix style kung fu
They
fight.
needed to find a way in the story for
her to stand a chance.
Yeah, her whole thing is she needs to prove herself to her master by killing a Jedi without using a weapon. You can't have her. You definitely could. It would be badass if she's trying to fight somebody, someone's trying to kill her with a lightsaber, and she's dopping. She's doing all kinds of dip, dive, dops, and dodges. To get away from it. And like the Jedi's like, fuck, I can't kill her with this. I have to rethink the strategy.
Well, otherwise you just force. Like, yeah, the Force is very inconsistent just in these 2 things. Like, I know it's kind of inconsistent in all of Star Wars, but they grab people with the Force very rarely, but then they do it in the same fight, and it's like, couldn't you have opened with that? Like, at least Kylo opened with the whole I'm gonna freeze you in position like twice, because that's his thing. Whereas halfway through both these fights, they use the Force to freeze a certain person, and they seem to only be able to use the Force when they're looking at something now, which just makes it a little it's like underpowered and stupid. Like, the reason Indara dies
Trinity
is
has to
because
look
she's
away.
forcing over here,
She has to look away.
and then cops a knife in the chest. Like, she doesn't have 2 hands for one. She was just blocking with a lightsaber, and it's like the Force seems to take them time.
She should be omnipotent with the Force. That's how the Force is described. It's an energy field that's everywhere.
It surrounds us and penetrates us.
They manipulate these midichlorians. That's been taken out, sorry. She should have been able to stop that, and then as the other blade was coming, it just stops with her mind.
Or
She shouldn't have.
when
firstly,
she
shouldn't
noticed
have
May
to-
look at the guy, look at her dagger, look at the guy, boom, Force push her into a wall. It's inconsistent so that May can stand a chance, which
Yeah.
is just like, again, it goes along with everybody's dumb to make May stand a chance. What if Trinity just like immediately like, she's like, fight me with all your might, and Trinity's like, blah, blah, and she like, both her hands hit the ground.
Yeah.
She's like, oh no.
Or she just uses the Force to lobotomize her, like within her brain or
Snap.
something. Testicular torsion her or something. It's a mid. I'm feeling very mid. You know, I'm angry at parts. I'm like, oh, that's cool in parts because it's still Star Wars and I still love Star Wars. So I'm trying to give it as many grains of salt as I can. But I'm not looking forward to this season for no reason other than I think the writing is going to be bad so that they can just have the characters do whatever they want.
Yeah,
and
so far it
I
doesn't
don't like that
inspire me.
about. Yeah, this does not inspire joy. What about you?
Toss it in the trash. Yeah, I'm the same. No one's super annoyed me except Yord, but again, maybe I'm supposed to be annoyed by him. But like, May is likable enough just because she hasn't done anything super annoying or stupid. She's just
a little
like,
bit cringy, but that's okay. She's like an edgelord.
Oh, sorry, not May. Osha. May is cringy edgelord, but again, she's whatever. If anything, May is the Mary Sue because she's the
May's
going to
follow the same story beats that Sabine did last in Ahsoka, where it's like she did train, but now she's going to retrain.
You mean Osha as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to get those confused a lot because they're the same person.
Sorry, yeah, Osha and Sabine, same.
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked because nothing's original in Star Wars. The only thing that's keeping me on is the cool looking stuff and the fun droids and aliens.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care about the plot at all because...
I just want to see new things from probably one of my favorite universes that have been
that's
created.
all I'm in it for currently.
Yeah.
Apart from that, it's not inspiring joy. You're right.
Tell us what you thought of the episode. Does the Acolyte spark joy?
Tell us where you think it's going. I'm sure there's leaks out there. So if you actually know, don't tell us.
And... subscribe. Thank you again for 1,000 subscribers. It was very cool, you guys.
So I feel like we were pretty nice to the Acolyte last week, right? But this week is unforgivable.
Oh, man.
It's got the trifecta. It's like, it's boring.
Yeah.
It's not even late, and I felt like that would put me to sleep. It destroyed canon, or at least added shit that is stupid and is dumb. And the third one is...
horrible acting.
Horrible acting. I like that I went into it was a trifecta before I even knew if it was.
You're like, hopefully there's 3 bad things.
Something would come to me.
There were. All of the acting was horrible except for maybe Angry Russian Woman, but that was only because she's such like a 2-dimensional character.
She was Angry Russian Woman.
Yeah. You should experience this easy even if you haven't watched it.
If this was the first thing you watched of this show, that'd be the funniest thing because it's immediately dog shit. Because the first thing you see is the 2 girls on their planet Brendog, and they're just terribly acting. Like, they just can't act from the get-go.
Yeah, it starts off, we see the 2 girls, bad acting. We get introduced by Mother Coral, bad acting. Then we meet Mama.
Super pretentious Mama.
But just like, it feels like she's just reading her lines. Like, it feels like she's a big personality, and it was just, hey, you know what? You come off as a really strong personality. Make that your character.
Strong female.
Not even that. I'm not even gonna go there. All right? Because it'd be way too easy with this episode to go there.
Even if this episode was good, it would have a lot of an uphill battle on the internet because it is a planet full of lesbian witches that are mostly not white. And I think...
oh, no, there was definitely one white person.
Okay.
Well, that said, the Jedis have cut the bridge.
They've sliced the platform.
Oh, that one. No, sliced the... Like, what does that mean?
The platform.
Yeah, what does that mean?
It's a space thing. You wouldn't get it.
Damn, if only I was a space wizard.
Yeah, like I have a very strong feeling that the usual suspects of Critical Drinker and Nerdrotic.
Oh, they've made their job easy this week.
Yeah, I feel like this week they're all sitting there like this.
Because like this is garbage.
Yeah.
And you could blow this up to be whatever you want it to be because it's that shit.
I can see the grabby headline now of, and hopefully we don't end up using one of these, of like, the Force was always female, question mark.
Well, that brings me to a couple of concepts that come up in this episode. The Force is very female.
Yeah.
The Jedi don't know how to use the Force and they use the Force wrong.
Yes.
The Force is a thread. It doesn't surround us and penetrate us. It's just a thread. And to use the Force, you should be pretending you're an airbender from Avatar.
Yeah.
But like the Shamamalan Avatar.
Yes.
Because you need to do a bunch of moves and
like
then do one
earthbending.
Force push.
I think they're trying to be smart.
They're trying to be spiritual.
They're trying to be spiritual, but they're trying to be like, no, this is the difference between Christianity and Islam, you know? Like,
right.
These are interpretations of, you know, religion, of the same thing, of God. I think they're trying to be 10th level intellect here and be like, no, this is just how these witches perceive the Force, which is their God. And they believe that their God, the true Force thread God, is better than the Force God of the Jedis.
There's a lot of witches in Star Wars now. Like, we had the Dathomirian Night Sisters.
And then we had the Light Sisters.
Yeah, and then Morgan Elsbeth came over during Ahsoka and then she got her own Tales of the Jedi, and then it turns out there were also Night Sisters in the other galaxy. But in this galaxy, we also have lesbian witches. I don't know, they went too far with the we are witches, like they call it a coven.
Like, they're not doing witchy stuff. They're doing culty stuff.
They're doing airbendery stuff.
Yeah.
And they have bows and arrows again, like the fucking Night Sisters, which annoyed the hell out of us.
They do.
Like, it's literally just like a recurve bow that they bought on Amazon with stuff on it and then spears, even though they all seem to have the Force. Like, that seems a prerequisite
I don't
to be here.
understand why they're not Force monks. It should be female Force monks.
Well, the Night Sisters never mentioned the Force. They were they were just like, oh, magic. Like, and that kind of, it was kind of the Force, but also it was different enough to be fine. Whereas these guys are literally saying it's the Force, but we know the Force wrong, but the Force is a thread. But the way you do it is, it's via Kung Fu moves. Because this whole show's identity has decided to be Kung Fu, which is...
It's lackluster hand-to-hand combat.
I think it'd be okay if if the witches all did Kung Fu. So like they could be a Kung Fu monk monastery of Force witches.
Yeah.
But then they've also made both the Jedi we've seen do anything also do Kung Fu. That's just like, why is everyone doing Kung Fu now?
Because, and I explained this last episode, is they need them to do Kung Fu so that they don't just cut her like May in half with a lightsaber. They need her to do Kung Fu.
They could just give May a lightsaber, but then she's Sabine Wren, I guess.
They could give her like a vibro blade, because vibro blades can like hold back.
Give him adamantium. Give him anything.
Give him some type of witch Beskar.
Yep.
Give her anything
Except throwing knives.
except throwing knives. People are like, they were poisoned, obviously. Like I saw people like debating that. That's why they worked.
Oh, so people were defending this show?
People love defending this show.
I haven't seen any defense of this show.
This is the best like original work of like any Star Wars stuff. The best combat of any Star Wars. That's ludicrous.
At best, the last 2 episodes were like fine.
Like just like that long ongoing fight between Anakin and Obi-Wan.
Yep, it's cool shit.
Insane.
The story of this episode, it's pretty simple. It's literally 2 twins disagree. They're both going to become witches, I guess. Even though they're already using the Force, but there's something important about this ceremony that they have to take part in.
Yeah.
Then the Jedi interrupt it. The sisters get mad at each other because they're really trying to paint the Jedi as they're like cops, I guess.
You know, this was exactly cops. It was, we have the right to search your vehicle. Where's your warrant? It was, hey, where's your warrant? Stop resisting. Are you going to cooperate?
Even that conversation was super stupid. Like, Indara says, according to Republic law, we're allowed to take kids that are Force sensitive. And then she's like, we're not in the Republic. And then she's like, surely you'll accept our right if you say yes. And then the mom says yes. So it's just nonsensical. And then all it does is let the kids test out. But let's talk about the kids for a minute. So we have Osha and May as children.
Yep.
We know they're terrible actors.
There was no debating.
What does each one want? And is there any way that they can subtly show us what they want?
Subtly? The way these horrible actors portrayed their emotions.
They just say their emotions.
It's horrible writing that they had to give to horrible actors is how I describe it.
Yeah, I guess that makes it feel more forced. But even just in the script, it's literally just them saying, we're twins, we're the same. No, we're not. I want to be my own person.
Yeah.
But you can't because we're twins.
2 kids who are the only kids on an entire planet who have grown up with only themselves to like be around, other than weird witch adults, can either one hate each other.
May threatens to kill Osha like twice.
Osha like despises May a little bit. Like she like keeps secrets from her and like lies to her and stuff.
I'll kill you.
She could say, oh, I don't want to be a witch. Like, for some reason. They could come up with something. They probably couldn't, but they should. But the weirdness is that she wants to be a Jedi though.
Yeah. And
the only difference between the Jedi and the witches is seemingly nothing.
One has a sword.
We're not even sure how she knows who the Jedi are because like if your mums, by the way, because lesbian, the Zabrakian carried the babies.
Yes. One says, the Russian Zabrak says, I carried these babies. And then Mama says, and I made them.
Yeah, and I created them. And then the Zabrak is like, what if the Jedi find out how you created them? So the children are Anakin probably. Like they're like made by the Force.
They manipulated the midichlorians
to create life. Which just means this is 2 kids that are just Anakin, but it's like either side of Anakin, I guess. Like one's good, one's evil.
Well, like,
and that's their genius idea for this story.
These kids are the Force, like...
Yeah.
And maybe they'll go into it, but like surely May was a prodigy.
We get told that they're super smart fairly often.
Yeah.
And super powerful. She's like, you are a very powerful girl. And also, just one thing with this show, they can't ever show the Sith, right? Because... in episode 1, they say to Qui-Gon that we haven't seen the Sith in 1,000 years. If 100 years ago, there was a little Sith cult going
Well,
on.
this is an Acolyte, not a Sith.
No, she's the Acolyte. I think May is the Acolyte.
But she wants to become an Acolyte.
Yeah.
So to become an Acolyte, she has to kill a Jedi with her bare hands.
Which is different to a Sith, and Yoda, I guess, was just like, no, it's different enough. I'm not going to tell.
Correct. Do they have a red lightsaber and wear a mask?
Yes.
Yes, but that's just because fans don't know the difference.
But they're not Darth Maul.
The kids, look, I understand the show was obviously limited. You had to get 2 actors who look very similar.
I've seen Parent Trap. Lindsay Lohan exists, and she's fantastic.
True. They could have just used one child twice. We have the technology.
Yep.
We've done it before. Obviously a lot easier for them to do 2 actresses, but that's just 2 bad child stars bouncing off each other. Like, child actors are supposed to bounce off of an adult actor who's very good. So they're supposed to, the adult is supposed to lead the scene. You're not supposed to give a scene to 2 children who don't know how to act.
They're in most of the scenes in most of the episode too.
Yeah, mainly communicating with each other and like just doing things in the background. Like, man, this was the worst acting in a Star Wars thing I've ever seen.
Are you an angel?
It also doesn't add anything to the current day characters. Like, a flashback should inform everything that happened.
Yeah.
But I feel like in 1 or 2 sentences in the present, you could have done this.
Yeah.
Or even in a shitty monologue. Like we always say, show, don't tell. But sometimes giving me a half hour of boredom is a lot worse than some guy just saying like a little monologue. Like, oh, my sister never wanted to be a Jedi.
You know, we should have had this told in May having nightmares over like a few episodes or something as she like restarts her training. And like she's rekindling herself with like the Force and like May, like they're like slowly becoming closer to becoming one or whatever.
Yeah.
That would have been a better way than wasting 30 to 45 minutes on this dog shit.
They were very angry at each other as kids too, considering at the start of the episode they have a little nursery rhyme of like,
you are me and I am you.
born as 2, but we are the same.
Yeah.
Is there one thread in the Force? Probably. A thread has 2 ends. I don't think that's how a thread works.
Well, how long's a piece of string?
So eventually the kids have to go and do this ceremony, which, do you remember the magical song that everyone has to sing?
Oh, it was the power of 1, the power of 2, the power of many.
There's also the chick at the very beginning who goes like,
That's the one, that's the one. And it's just like, what is happening?
1, the power of 2, the power of many.
Like, what?
It's like it turns into the Lion King on like stage or something.
It's exactly it. And then there's also, along with the singing, there's a song playing in the background, which is also repeating what they're saying. So
Yeah, they have a full backing track.
instead of the soundtrack being like the classic orchestral soundtrack of Star Wars or whatever, it's now just like, you know, just soul sisters singing the power of 1, the power of 2, the power of many. Did they create their whole religion around the birth of the 2 girls?
No, it seems like they had the cult and they probably couldn't have babies because they realized they were all lesbians. And when you do samesies, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
So then the Jedi rock up, they slice the platform and they interrupt the ceremony just in time for Osha not to have to go through the ceremony, which is convenient so that one of the twins has a circle on her head and the other twin doesn't. So we at least know the difference between them. I guess that's useful. But then like Indara is just a charisma vacuum. Like she's meant to suck in fairness. Like she's meant to be this stoic, mean bitch, but she just sucks. Like, like she's not fun. Like Trinity should be cool as hell, but she's not even that.
Yeah.
And there is no Jedi action in this episode either, but the witches can possess people because witches, I guess. It's weird to see Tommen without his shitty balding hair and his beard. It's so gross.
They should have either stuck to, is it like a Force or is it witches? Now they're witches who use the Force. It's like,
yes,
they've just
with
made
karate.
them, they've made them everything. They just have everything now. You know, it's like, just make them witches.
Yeah,
but make these girls special because they have the Force.
And
as
she
well,
says,
obviously.
pulling on the thread, you can manipulate the world, and the Jedi using it wrong. So that's why the Jedi have rocked up to like steal these kids. And Osha immediately comes forward and says like, look at their lightsabers. I want to be a Jedi.
Yeah.
And it's like, fucking why? Like you didn't even want to be a witch. It's manufactured tension in the way that it's like the girls have to disagree on something. So it's literally one wants to be a witch, one wants to be a Jedi. And for some reason, that's like the worst thing May has ever heard.
Yeah.
May is like ready to kill people over this. And Dara says, can we test these kids? And then the mum's like, fine, which is weird. She could have said no by this. Like, it seems like they could have said no. And then she goes to her coven elders.
The council.
And there's that one gross ass witch. Like, it's the
The CG wrinkle witch.
It's so bad. She didn't need to be there.
No.
Like,
because all she said was like, no, we must let them test the children.
yeah, and they're talking about like you spilled Jedi blood, and they're all like, no wonder they don't get anything done. Am I right, boys?
May makes Osha promise, you will lie on this test and you will flunk it on purpose so we can stay here and be witches. Promise?
Which
and
is...
Osha's like, you got it. And then she sees a Wookiee welding on a speeder and she's like, that's it.
And at that moment, you were like, oh, that's why she wanted to be a mech.
Yeah.
It's like, yes, her love of machines started when she saw a Wookiee
Using
welding.
like a finger welder.
It's like, wow. That's the level of storytelling. They're like, oh shit, she needs to like technology.
Yeah.
Let's make her pay attention to this Wookiee. Later on, they do say that she wants to see the world.
Yeah.
She's like, that's why she wants to be a Jedi so that she can travel.
Ah, okay.
But we also don't really see the Jedi as people that travel everywhere. And we also don't see the witches as people that don't travel everywhere. Like, it's a community, sure, but they're only being held up because they're kids. And they're only being guarded as kids because if the Jedi see them, the Jedi want to take them.
Yeah.
So it stands to reason once they're older, they can fuck off and do whatever they want. Because this bitch is about to spend a lot of time on Coruscant. Like, she's not going to get to see the world.
Yeah.
She's going to go train for years.
Because he kind of sold her on it because he was like, oh, there's lots of kids, thousands of kids there.
Yes.
And she's like, oh my God, kids. But if he was like, you know, once you complete your training, you can travel the world. Like, she should have been drawing space maps or something like that and interested in space and getting out there.
Well, then she can just have the Anakin line of, I'm going to be the first one to see them all. Oh, that's literally it. It's Qui-Gon and Anakin.
Yeah.
Gross. Show's just stealing shit.
Yeah, well, then they also, because she does the Jedi test of what's on this iPad.
Peter.
And I pointed out that they just stole the scene from Into the Spider-Verse 1 where she's getting every answer wrong on purpose. And they're like, you can only get the answer wrong if you know the right answer. And she's like,
and it's like she gets the first one wrong and he's immediately like,
He was like, you're right.
But
she's like, no.
Well, let's do a little test. What do you see?
A spaceship.
Correct.
A rabbit.
Correct.
A subscribe button. And you're clicking it.
Click that.
Smash that like.
So she passes the test with flying colors. May gets super mad at her and then runs off. And then
She just knows.
May steals her booklet that she was drawing in earlier and then burns it with this random gas lamp that's just like hanging in the hallway. Every other light we've seen all episode is just like bioluminescent or like technology light. And this one's just fire outside their room burning constantly. So she takes it, burns the book, and then what, 10 seconds later?
10 seconds later, the entire stone hallway is on fire.
It's literally stone and steel is all we've seen all episode, except for her room has some like plush stuff. But her room doesn't get lit on fire.
No, just the doorway and corridor get lit on fire.
And it's not just like, oh, there's fire. It's like a blazing fire. And what we think they're doing, I guess, is that they're painting it so the Jedi started the fire. Not only does that hallway get lit on fire, but as Osha tries to crawl through the vent to escape, the whole building starts exploding.
The reactor blows up or something?
Yeah, like the fuel lines in the walls.
Did they maybe allude to that? We'll have to go back and watch. The Zebrak hears something and walks out, and she kind of looks out, and you see like a little like electricity go like...
Well, the only thing we have to believe that it might be the Jedi that somehow started, as in Indara and her apprentice, because I guess they really fucking wanted these kids. Indara seems disinterested, apart from the fact it's the law that she gets to test kids.
Yeah,
like that's just her thing, I guess.
Like she's like the seasoned cop who's like, "All right, show us your kids, we'll test them.
Hide your kids, hide your wives." At the very end, in the very final scene, after Osha's rescued by Sol on the spaceship, after May falls into a big hole because. They do cinema, you know, like when there's two sisters standing on opposite sides of a broken bridge.
Oh, yeah.
Such good cinematography.
This is Captain America looking at the Red Skull.
From the distance. It's completely stupid. Then May falls in a hole. At least 10 stories. Like they show like a shot. So I guess she stopped herself from falling. But that didn't save her mum because on the way out, Osha runs past all the dead bodies. There's no blaster wounds on any of the dead bodies that they pass. It's literally just... corpses, not even corpses. It's just
people laying down.
Yeah, it's just people playing dead.
The smoke inhalation.
I would not be shocked if we found out that they were all faking it. But then why would they let Osha get taken? So that's a stupid thing to say. But that's how not dead they all looked because they're all like lying next to each other in like a clump of like 10. So it's like they're all having a little gathering, and then someone yelled like red light, and then they all had to fake death or something.
Yeah, you don't even see like people crying over some people's dead bodies and stuff.
No rubble. It's not
being
like the ceiling caved in
and dying, or people running around. Everyone's just already dead.
Instantly dead. And Osha runs past them
and there's
all.
no blood anywhere, by the way.
Because Sol takes her back to the ship. He's like, I rescued you. And he's doing his best Qui-Gon that doesn't speak English. And everywhere says that, he learnt English for this. No, he learnt only his lines.
Yeah.
The man doesn't
I
speak
promise
English.
you will be my Padawan and never feel this pain again.
It's exactly. And they cut away from him so often while he's talking because I guess he can't hold that many sentences in one. Like he's talking to Osha. It's not like where you get to see Osha's face, like reacting to things. Because she's a kid. She can't act. She can't react. Acting is reacting.
What?
And she can't do that because she's a kid. So she's staring blankly back at this man.
It's just him monologuing and it just cuts to her just being like blank expression.
Like that's what I do. Like whenever I fuck up, I cut to you so that I can stitch two of my lines together.
Perfect. Movie magic.
I probably just did it then. Then she's on the spaceship, and in the blurry background, you see Tommen Baratheon, also known as Torbjorn, and he's in the background, and you can see he has like a bloody scar on his face. So it seems like he was in a fight. Maybe he set off the explosions that killed everyone else instantly, and he somehow got hurt. Like it doesn't seem like he was in a fight, obviously, because there's no blood on any of the carcasses.
Yeah.
But yeah, then the episode ends, and we've really gained the knowledge of with these two girls is that one wanted to be a Jedi, the other didn't.
Yeah.
But then Osha stops being a Jedi 10 years later.
I mean, what we kind of got is that they weren't even sisters to begin with. It's like they always hated each other, kind of.
Apart from that one nursery rhyme where they're like, we're besties, but then turns out they're not.
Apart from that, all that we know is that they fucking hated each other.
There's no real connection apart from the fact they look the same.
Yeah, it's one was hurting that butterfly at the start, and the other one's like, stop it!
Yeah,
and
May's always been a psychopath.
And then it's like, what are you doing in that book? Nothing! You're lying to me! Secrets! Stop it, stop it. They are fighting the entire time. I would have loved to see them like confiding in each other more, actually like talking to each other, being like, I don't want to leave you.
That would involve
anything
acting.
like that. Not even acting. I think they were written shittily to begin with. You know, it's like, these aren't two sides of the same coin. These are like completely different currencies.
The difference of opinion isn't something subtle that then like grows into a big divide. It's literally, I want to be a Jedi, I want to be a witch. And the one that wants to be a witch is, how dare you don't want to be a witch with me? I'll kill you.
Yeah.
And then like shoves her and then sets everything on fire. It's just a very dumb show. People are going to get outraged mostly at the fact everyone's a lesbian witch. But then the way they talk about the Force is stupid. Because this is canon, there's no real way to discount it.
Why haven't we heard about this before, you know?
Because the Jedi hate women like them. Oh, there's the actual line.
The galaxy is not a place that welcomes women like us.
So the reasoning behind why the galaxy hates them, or is scared of them, sorry, isn't because they're like super strong or anything. It's like they're different. But is it because they're black lesbians?
I think it's because they're manipulating magic to create life. Maybe it has nothing to do with you guys being women. I think it has everything to do with you guys breaking the rules of the Geneva Convention to create life.
They do just hate them, or at least maybe they just think they're hated. They're the victims.
Welcome to religions.
It's really hard to talk about this episode without feeling like a bigot.
Yeah, it's like I think everyone is automatically going to throw stones at people who hate this episode. I feel like they made it and they're like, they can't hate this episode. It has everything that you're not allowed to hate nowadays, but that doesn't excuse any of the horrible writing.
Yeah, they've made it simultaneously super easy for everyone to hate on the internet and super easy for everyone to defend because they can just call them bigot. There's no winning with this episode.
We do this every time, and every time no one actually writes a proper answer in the comments. But if you genuinely got something from this episode and enjoyed it, liked it, thought it was good writing, put an example of this in the comments.
Make a reply video. Bring back the reply video.
Don't make a reply video. Maybe just reply to the comment.
Bring back the reply video.
Just comment and just say what you actually enjoyed from this. We have our obligatory flashback episode out of the way.
It was way earlier than I expected.
I was expecting episode 6, but that means we can do it twice.
Because Ahsoka had a flashback episode, didn't it?
Yep. Her training with Anakin and stuff.
Yes. And that was right at the end.
Star Wars audio on a Wednesday night. You know what that means. Oh, the Acolyte has it all over us again.
There was nowhere to go but up.
Okay.
It can't have been worse than last week, right?
Wrong.
Welcome to the episode where the Jedi go on a hike.
It's the beach episode of the anime. This was such a weird episode.
We don't get into any real character stuff. Like, people state things we already know to each other. Like Yord saying to Osha,
I've known you since we were younglings. May has always been your wound.
I didn't know Osha was a twin.
The dialogue hasn't improved. It's still incredibly clunky.
Is it weird that this is probably the best episode of the show so far?
No, I feel like we liked episode 1 more, for sure. It had more cool Star Wars stuff.
But I kind of liked this one.
Oh, I thought I'd be the nice one, you'd be the mean one. So you
I think
actually
I'm
liked
the
it.
nice one.
What did you like about it then? For most of this episode, it's them going on a hike and they occasionally stop and talk to each other like it's a CW show.
I think I like this episode the most because this one just like made me think about ways to do this better. And I was like, in episode 5 when Luke's training with Yoda and he does that whole like spirit quest where he fights Darth Vader and it turns out to be himself. I feel like that's what this episode should have been. But both the girls and Soul, like everyone should have been getting lost in the forest and had to go on their own kind of spirit journey.
No, but then it just turns into the Spirited Away episode of Avatar from Netflix that we also hated because it was just them running around having visions. I don't know, I'm not a fan of that.
But like I wanted Osha because she's like getting more in touch with the Force, or at least like that's what like it's like alluding to. She's like, I'm feeling things again.
But she's also saying how she hates the Force, kind of, because the Force got that creature killed.
She got that creature killed.
Yeah, she's like, oh, I could feel it, but then it died.
Yeah. Welcome to the Force.
I thought it was going to come back because they say very loudly, oh, it went straight for the lightsaber. They're attracted to the light.
Yeah.
So it definitely felt like they were foreshadowing.
Now it's nighttime and the only light is going to be through lightsabers. So I imagine like Soul's going to be like, turn off your lightsabers now. And then they're going to turn it all off and all the monsters are going to swarm.
The one with his lightsaber on? Smilo Ren.
But I'm sure it will come back because why would they mention it if it wouldn't come back? Unless it's just to describe the scene, which is also something this show would do.
When May falls down face first in the fart plants then stands up and there's the little beaver going... And we were just joking about it. She should have punted it into next week.
Very true. Man, we need a tracker to track our tracker sometimes.
Yeah, the dialogue's still incredibly
Looks
clunky.
at camera. Did we just lose our tracker?
No, what was the one? Oh, yeah, they completely do the Marvel thing where Osha goes, I'm not wearing one of those civilian robes, though. And then it's weird, though, because it's not a hard cut to her in the civilian robes, like would be the comedy thing to do, where it's like, oh, I will never wear those robes. Bang,
and
in the robes.
It's her, like, fixing up the robes.
Instead, it's, oh, I'll never wear those robes. Transition shot that shows them in hyperspace, and then it. So it's like, it's weirdly bridged. It's even less funny than would be funny, even though it's
we
cliche.
had to show that they were in space on a ship. Otherwise, people wouldn't understand.
I feel like we would have picked up on that.
No, we have to show the audience.
We're very dumb.
Well, just like the audience, apparently, because everything just had to be explained to us again.
That's all the CW talks were. It was just people saying who they were to each other. There's no real revelation.
Well, it's like May was talking to the drunk herbalist guy. He's like, just in the forest here. That's where we're going to find him. And they're like, we're running out of daylight. And then like without skipping a beat, May's like, I can't believe my sister's with those pencil pushing dweebs, the Jedi. And it's just like, ew, like why did that feel so forced? Like
Forced?
That should have come through in like a conversation where May was talking about like the Jedi are after her. May's with Soul. She joined the Jedi after all.
It could just be because this episode didn't feel as offensive, like to Star Wars. They weren't just like throwing shade at the Jedi every chance they got.
Yeah.
Osha almost had a character in the way that she just decided she wants to kill her sister.
That was kind of cool though.
It's a flip because then they need the drama of, oh, she wants to kill her sister, but now her sister's flipped to being good.
Yeah.
Which is such a snap decision, and she somehow sets up a trap in the middle of the forest
using
with like
the Force.
100 million tall trees. She's just like, yes, I made a rope trap. But herbalist that everyone thinks is Smilo Ren, is that the rumor?
Well, he's the only other person who's on the planet that we know of that works for the evil Sith.
It's either the mums or it's Indira, and they've just come down. But the big pivotal moment of the episode, which doesn't happen till like 25 minutes in, after a
this
bunch of talking and
27-minute
walking,
episode.
May's made her snap decision to suddenly be good, and she's like, I'll just turn myself into the Jedi, everything will be okay. Still hunts down Kelnaka, goes into his shack, and he's been murdered. Oh no. And she's like, he's here because he's been murdered with a lightsaber. So it just made it feel like retroactively her snap decision to change was just so that this could happen.
Yeah.
Like it feels like we missed a whole episode of her deciding to be good. Instead, it happened off screen. She sits down and then Herbalist comes back. And that's in that like 30 seconds, she's decided, yes, I'm going to be a good guy now. Which I like the idea of, I don't know. She says she doesn't have to do this anymore and that she can go her own way and turn herself into the Jedi. But why was she on the quest in the first place? If she was on it for revenge, why has she suddenly decided that revenge isn't necessary?
I think revenge was like a byproduct of she wanted to do this to because she was going to become the Acolyte / the new apprentice. And also he said that you need to do this or I'll kill you.
Oh, I guess just because evil. Just
Yeah.
generally evil thing. That's what evil people do. They always kill their minion to prove a point. But she says that her allegiance is with Osha, and that's all that matters to her,
Yeah.
which is funny to me because the last thing we hear her say in the last episode with the flashback before she dies is, I'll kill you to her own sister.
Also, she was the one who we thought died, and she saw Osha alive, so why wouldn't she be spending her whole life looking for Osha?
Yes.
Instead, she's spending her whole life getting revenge.
Yeah, because if she fell and somehow didn't die, they
Yeah.
didn't explain how. If Osha then also fell, then she would have seen Osha's corpse like hit the floor.
Or she would have found it when she woke up from the fall, or like...
Yeah, like at what point does she decide that the Jedi killed all of her family, but Osha's also dead? It's just not really explained, I guess. But they make her flip so that they
Yeah.
can have the big moment of, oh, she wants to turn herself in now.
Well, not everyone's
but-
against the bad guy, and that means we can get both of our girls fighting the bad guy at once.
I don't think anyone can fight this bad guy because he is able to force push like 8 Jedi, force pushed into the distance.
Yeah, with one hand, just like this.
After he floats down from the sky like Magneto.
Flying. Have we seen flying?
It's
before?
We've never seen a Jedi manipulate themselves like that. They can jump and fall slow.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
they jumped and fell really slowly.
Maybe they were just going down a vine like Tarzan or something like that. Just like...
It was a wire. The only other interesting things to mention is that Ki-Adi-Mundi and Plo Koon are both in this episode.
Yeah.
Woo! It's not like you don't see them do anything cool, so it's not like, oh my god, it's Ki-Adi-Mundi. It's like, oh, he's alive. That's cool.
Yeah.
At the start, Ki-Adi-Mundi is gathered around with everyone and they're talking about how May is such a powerful Force user, and then it flashes up the 3 Jedi that aren't Soul, weirdly, and it's like, oh, it shows the 2 that have been killed in Dara, Torben, and then, but there's also a 4th Jedi, which is like and subscribe. They're basically talking about how these people are Sith, which is weird considering in 80 years, Qui-Gon's like, oh, I found the first Sith in 1,000 years. That seems like it should be a bigger deal. But then Plo Koon, we see him on the actual planet with them.
Yes.
So Plo Koon firsthand has seen like a red lightsaber and been fucked up a little bit by it.
Yeah. And he is on the council in the prequels.
Yeah, so when Qui-Gon is like, I fought a guy with a red lightsaber, and Plo Koon's like, whew, boy, let me tell you a story.
Yeah. Also, another like kind of subplot line that they've introduced is they don't want to tell the High Council, including like, I guess Yoda would already be on there, about this whole situation that's happening. They don't want to alert the High Council because then the High Council would tell the Senate, and then the Senate would... It's all kinds of...
So is this their way of avoiding showing Yoda?
Yes.
Because Yoda's
that's their way, I think, of saying that's why Qui-Gon and the Masters didn't know about it, because this subsect of Jedi Masters was
just
keeping
never
it a secret.
brought it up.
And
God,
just
that's
never
so
brought it up.
stupid. Especially when Ki-Adi-Mundi's on the council.
I'm very glad that you guys all got eviscerated.
That's
And
just
everyone on the
dumb.
planet has to die as well. Surely everyone has to die.
I think the only good thing we thought we liked the music at the end there.
Music was good, kind of like ominous, spooky,
Yeah,
kind of...
like it seemed kind of tense at the end there. So like that was decent, I guess.
Well, where do you think the next episode's going to go? So this episode was called Day,
This one has to be night. Yeah, it must be.
and also lightsaber battles at nighttime. Like we saw it with like Obi-Wan show.
Look awful.
But it's their go-to, I think, because you can like mask a lot of stuff maybe. Like
Yeah.
in the darkness.
Actually, yeah, most of Obi-Wan was in the dark. So yeah, they do like their lightsaber at night. I think it's because they like the lightsabers actually illuminate themselves now. So they're like, haha, see?
Well, this is kind of like, if you take out the flashback episode, the next episode would technically be like episode 4 in the sequence.
Yep.
So that's technically like our mid-season. I think they're going to go big mid-season, and then we're going to get 2 boring episodes into a setup episode into a finale.
Well, yeah, because there's no way they can win this fight, because otherwise the show's just over and they've killed
Yeah.
the Sith Lord. So someone's got to bail.
But I think we need May to save Soul so that she can get back in the good graces, so we can have the 5-man party of Osha, May, Yord, X-23, and Soul all like going to like the final battle or whatever.
It's either everyone is going to be against Smilo Ren, or it's going to be somehow Smilo escapes and May is somehow blamed for the death of Kalnaka, even though the Sith has now shown himself.
Yeah.
So it feels like the sisters have to now be together, but it's not interesting.
I mean, I still kind of liked it just because like it showed some interesting stuff, like Osha being like, you have to kill her. I like that. That made my feet tingle. I was like, whoa.
It was good that she, but again, she only snapped to the let's kill her so that May could then flip to the other thing. So it's just they just swapped.
I get it.
Looks like a fun mountaintop.
It's still dog shit. Talking about bad TV is hard,
when you're
but
not
it's
angry.
easier than talking about nothing TV.
This was a very nothing episode because it was all building up to that finale.
Yeah. So Ahsoka did it as well. They did this formula of like setup episode into the next one's going to be a big action episode.
Yeah. At like 29 minutes, it definitely feels like they're stretching this show
was
out.
short as fuck.
Yeah, I didn't even finish my popcorn. It was crazy.
It was short as hell. My coffee stayed hot the whole time.
Especially after watching like House of the Dragon, where they actually bother to give you an hour and 10-minute episode.
Insane.
You can do so much, and there's
Yeah.
no reason why this couldn't be much shorter. So it's like
Or much longer.
they're padding out these episodes, and the episodes aren't even long. So the fact that they have to pad out a short episode to pad out like an entire story, it's like there's not enough is happening in these things.
Don't worry. Once this is over, we're going to make our own Star Wars The Acolyte story. Like, I'd love to use all the characters from this. We'll get the whiteboard out, the red twine, and we're gonna write our own story on how the Acolyte should have been done.
Rebuild it because on paper it seems like it should be decent. Like you've
Yeah.
got all the characters that can do things.
Star Wars, twins, red lightsaber. It's a formula that's lasted the test of time.
Other budgetary thing was kind of weird. The Jedi Temple kids are all using sticks. Like in episode 2, we see Jedi children actually using lightsabers.
Yeah.
So they trust children with things, but they don't trust X-23 with a lightsaber.
Very true. Well, she has a
to have
lightsaber
stick.
at the end here, though.
Yeah, but like she has to train with
Yeah.
a stick. I'm finally represented in Star Wars.
The ginger top-knot Jedi.
Ginger Jedi walking around. I'm still sick of the Coruscant logo coming up on the very obvious picture of Coruscant. And we have another forest planet.
Yeah.
That's pretty much just Brendok again. But this one's Kofar.
Kashyyyk.
Yeah, it wants to be.
Were these 20 million an episode?
15 to 20, yeah.
At the end, they do tickle your balls a little bit with that. Like, obviously,
You get the trailer shot with all
we
the
didn't think
lightsabers.
we'd be seeing, because we've seen like the big bad for probably 4 seconds in the first episode,
Yeah.
like in the distance.
They
and
just
that's
show
kinda
off their
it.
lightsaber just to remind us that they're a Sith.
And so you're like, oh, we're probably not going to see them again till the very end. My problem is, how come all of these Force sensitives can't sense this most powerful Force user?
Soul notices him. He does turn around.
Yeah, when they already land.
Just before he floats down.
Well, just before it floats down. It's bullshit. It's bullshit because any OG Jedis should have been able to sense a Force user that powerful.
Vader can sense Luke through space on a ship from a distance.
It's not
I don't
fucking,
know if La Familia.
It is
but
not. It is not Dragon Ball Z where it's like we're hiding our power levels. You know, that shit
I don't know
hasn't
if you-
been
Yeah, I don't know if
established.
you're allowed to do that.
Rey and Kylo, don't they communicate through space with their minds?
They do, because they're a Force dyad.
Yes,
and so does May and Osha.
But that just speaks to how powerful the Force is when you want it to be.
The Force is too powerful now for me, to be honest.
You can do whatever you want with it though.
Like Obi-Wan, Darth Vader pulls down a ship, which is too much.
But that's
And-
cool because Darth Vader.
It's cool, but then again, he never shows that in like the future episodes. And then like Smilo Ren's able to Force push like 8 Jedi out of the way. Like, why wouldn't you just use that move all the time? Like, they've just made the Force too powerful. And I think video games are to blame. It's because in Force Unleashed, it was called the Force Unleashed. You had to go fucking nutso. You had to pull Star Destroyers down out of orbit. The Force power creep is getting out of hand. Even in the prequel trilogy where it's like the Force is at its most insane, Yoda spends like 3 minutes trying to stop rocks from falling from the sky. It's like the Force can do very cool things, but it's not ridiculous like the games show it to be. But now it is, because this is the strongest Sith we've seen.
Well, now it's like, this is the strongest Force user we've seen.
It's just too much now. But yes, this episode was boring, but I guess it at least shows that something's going to happen next week.
Which is hopefully good. I'm having high hopes for next week.
It'll be insane if they somehow end here with like this big excitement and it fizzles super hard.
The next episode is going to be them waking up and it's sunrise again and they go, did we all get knocked out?
And May's been kidnapped.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
No, Osha's been kidnapped and they have to work with May to get the master. Lock it in.
I would not, honestly, I've been hurt before.
Also, this movement here of like pushing Osha away.
Oh, she got fucking destroyed.
Yeah.
Like Osha's next.
Let us know if you like this episode. Let us know if you like the show, to be honest, because right now it's feeling a bit nothing burgerish, but let us know if this swells the Force in your balls.
That's really sad. Bad. Well, now every one of those Jedi has to die.
Welcome back to the second half of last week's episode, because that's all this was. There's no reason for this to be a new episode. It's a 25-minute fight scene.
This could have been one really good 45-minute episode, but instead it was a subpar first episode and a mediocre second episode.
They would have got decent reviews on last week's episode.
What?
As in, okay, it wasn't fantastic or anything.
Middling reviews, surely.
It would have been a lot easier than saying the episode where the Jedi goes on a hike.
Yeah.
Like, something actually happened in this one. Nothing character-related happened in this one, really. But you got a lot of...
Hey, you wanted Star Wars? We gave you Star Wars.
We got your Star Wars at home. And they remembered there was karate in this.
Yes, we had a bit of everything.
To people's detriment, to be honest. Like, people chose to fight with karate instead of their lightsabers.
My biggest thing, what's with this whole rule where it's like the bad guy, Sith man, brings it up. He says, a Jedi wouldn't strike someone who's unarmed, would they? You've killed 6 Jedi already. You're not unarmed, you're disarmed. He's a hostile threat.
He's definitely the bad guy.
Look, I need to understand that rule of, you wouldn't hit a dude with glasses, would you? Because he puts glasses on afterwards. Can you explain that to me?
It's because Leslie Headland wants the Jedi to be the bad guy.
Yeah.
Like, everyone's morally grey. Oh my goodness, who's the real good guy? And they've given the Jedi this weird code where instead of just being like protectors of the peace,
oh no,
like they can only kill armed opponents now within this show. And I guess they can semi-get away with it because it's set 100 years before. So like maybe that was a rule back then. But it's stupid, and it's not a rule for the characters themselves. It's for the plot so that people don't die too quickly. Because it's the only reason May is alive at all. It's the only reason Kamir got away at all. So you're not allowed to attack an unarmed opponent, but you are allowed to let bugs try to eat them alive.
So you're telling me all a Sith had to do this whole time was when they didn't want to fight, is just turn off their lightsaber and walk away?
Darth Maul just turns it off and he's like,
you have to have a double lightsaber or something. Yeah, if you're like a Sith guy. I did like his though. It was kind of cool. He does like the little...
It's a great moment, Rip Jackie. We were wrong. They didn't wake up the next day. She wakes up and there was a fight going on. And we only hear the fighting once she can see it. It's like when a helicopter flies over the edge of a building or something.
Yeah.
You only know about it there once you can see it.
I was glad because they started off showing it all obscured by trees. And I'm like, please don't have the only lightsaber combat be like hidden behind trees and
only
like masked by something.
Yeah.
But they didn't. They went like up close and personal.
It's all still at nighttime, which is either because they think it looks cooler or it's easier to hide stuff.
Didn't you see Obi-Wan?
It does look way better than the Obi-Wan fight. Not, I guess, from a choreography perspective. Like, I wasn't blown away by the general fighting, but the lightsabers didn't completely destroy everyone's faces in this. Whereas in the Obi-Wan show, it's either gross red or gross blue, and like that's all you see. It looks so digital.
Yeah, like in that shot where Vader's helmet's like busted and it's like the red lightsaber against his face. It's just like so red.
It's so colored. But here, the VFX guys realized their mistake in Obi-Wan and they've toned it down a bit.
Yeah.
That's the whole episode. It's fighting off Kamir. We don't find out it's Kamir to begin with. We do find out that not only does he float down like Magneto at the end of last episode, he wears his helmet because he is Magneto and he doesn't want Charles Soul Xavier to read his thoughts. That's his excuse for wearing a helmet.
Well, we all know that it's all just for writing purposes.
It's 50% we can sell a new helmet on starwars.com and the second half is, oh, it's a mystery now because we don't know who he is.
Yeah.
Even though it's not a satisfying mystery because we knew who it was because he's the only other person on the planet. And the only other options were like her now 50-year-old mother's or the green lady that would have no reason to be around and definitely has male forearms.
Yeah. Good job, Kamir. You're jacked.
All he did was dirty up his arms to keep the mystery. It makes no sense for him to wear it around May either. Like, apart from oh, I can be your best friend on the side. I can be this just quirky drunk guy. Like, who is he playing that for?
He's playing both sides.
Yeah, what does that accomplish, apart from the fact that we didn't think it was Kamir for a minute there?
That wasn't a good reveal. I mean, I think how they did the reveal was kind of cool. Like, you know,
the shot itself was cool.
Yes.
The character reveal is dumb.
Yes.
But the visual flair of the guys that directed this was at least all there. Like, that was fantastic.
It was good. He didn't like stab her 3 times. Like he turned it on and off 3 times. Looks sick.
It was very brutal of an episode. Considering they cover the beheading in the opening, I'm like, okay, we're not really going to see much. But then we see Yord get his neck snapped. We see Jackie get impaled. All the rest of the Jedi are terrible. Jackie is a very impressive apprentice.
She's very good for a Padawan. The fact that she fights better than Yord and Yord's like a Jedi Knight.
Yord with 2 other people couldn't help it. It's very Palpatine. It's the fight where everyone runs in and they die immediately. And then it's like, Good job,
I
everyone.
did like the shot where he impaled someone and then grabbed the person behind him with the force and brought them into it. Very efficient.
Again, not sure if that was in the script or writing or whether like someone on the choreography team thought it would be really cool.
You're almost sounding like you like it.
That's I from a purely fight scene aspect, like it had some cool stuff. It had the cool stuff, but like there's zero character here.
Correct.
The most we get of character is everyone's a goddamn idiot. Like people are the most stupid in this episode. Smilo Ren is stupid because he knocks everyone out. And then instead of just walking around killing them all one by one, I guess he waits for them to get back up. And then we have the Yord line of, he doesn't fight. He doesn't follow the rules.
He doesn't follow the rules of combat.
Like, what the hell?
It's hard to tell what he's doing. He doesn't follow the rules of combat. I'm like,
it's like, he's a bad guy. Like, how many opponents has Yord gone up against? And how many of them have followed the rules of
honorable.
combat?
I see you're honorable.
Because he doesn't fight other Jedi, obviously. If you're a Jedi, like, has he only ever fought Jedi? Maybe that's his thing. Like, he's so bookish, he's never been in a real fight. So he's beating the absolute shit out of literally all these Jedi. Like, Yord's terrible. He's just beating them up. But the thing he hits the hardest is the like and subscribe button below. I'm not sure what the hell Sol was doing for the first 5 minutes of the fight while everyone else was getting murdered. Because he waits for everyone else to die.
He like gets up off the ground. I think it was just prolonged knocked out.
Smilo kills the other people. And then he injures Yord. Osha shoots him and he tanks a stun gun, which is cool, I guess. I guess maybe his armor absorbed it. Because I don't think you can physically do that.
Strong.
And then he, instead of just impaling Yord like a normal evil guy would do, he does the whole thing where, oh, a new opponent? I'll go chase that other person that's more important. So then Yord gets to live. Osha escapes into the jungle, and then Sol just appears and stops her from getting killed by the flying lightsaber. So it's like, what was he doing? How did he get so far away?
He must have been knocked out or something. Because you can't write in the fact that he wasn't helping people.
Well, no, it happened off screen. That's the beauty of writing. If you don't write it, it never happened and no one will ever notice. So, stupid. Jackie was also off screen doing something else until she just comes across May.
She was also knocked out.
She was also asleep, I swear. Yeah, Sol doesn't attack unarmed opponents, so let him live. So that's stupid. It's just, everyone makes the dumbest decision, and it culminates in the dumbest decision, which is May decides to impersonate Osha by doing the patented perfect haircut with a blade. Like, it's dumb enough in movies where they pull their ponytail back, cut it, and it falls perfectly into a bob. But this, she's just like leans forward and cuts her extensions off. Like, good job. Good thing they kept the same haircut.
Very good point.
The thought was, wouldn't it be interesting if they had the exact same haircut in the first few episodes, so we weren't even sure if it was May or Osha? But it's pretty immediately apparent that they're different people.
I feel like they're overlooking something. I just thought of it. May has a permanent Force Maze tattoo on her head.
You know what?
That's
I did.
The entire size of her head.
I forgot about that.
She's just covering it with her hair, and Sol just isn't going to notice.
She's just never going to walk too quickly. You know why I forgot about that? Because Sol can read minds and it doesn't matter.
Correct. His whole thing was, I read minds and I go into people's minds and see the truth. And then even Kumir was like, I do this so you can stay out of my mind, Charles.
Don't lecture me, Charles.
You know, but he's just so distraught, okay? There's death around him. So he obviously isn't thinking. Also, this person isn't speaking like Osha. He's at least been around Osha for the last few days. And she's like, Master Soul.
But she doesn't talk like May either.
Yeah.
She's doing the terrible acting thing where she's now talking like half a robot, just so that we're going, that's weird.
Yeah, but
Stupid.
look, Sol's just so distracted because everyone around him is dead and the bad guy got away.
Everyone around him is dead.
Everyone.
Qui-Gon was right. Everyone had to die.
Yes.
But that also means, I guess, Ki-Adi-Mundi never saw a red lightsaber, right? All we know is that May never saw a master. Like, that's what he was confused about. That's why they were like fallen Jedi. But now Sol is going back, so there must be some kind of conspiracy where Green Lady is like, oh.
But also confirmed it is a Sith.
You might call me Sith.
Because
he says
it was like, we were like, oh, maybe it's like a witch person, maybe it's this and that.
We thought he was going to make the joke where he's like, who are you? And he's like, I'm definitely not a Sith.
Because I feel like everyone would have been like, no, the Sith, this, like that. Yeah, the Sith hadn't existed for 1,000 years. But now he's like, what are you? He's like, I'm a Sith. And
he's like, your people would call me a Sith.
And he's like, I want an Acolyte.
That was stupid. It almost feels like they realize that they've kind of dropped a bunch of canon on the floor and they're like,
yeah. That would work if they were filming these week by week. But it's like they wrote this out, scripted it out.
They didn't re-go through it.
They didn't do like a casting or like an acting table where
Yeah.
they like went around. Quick, add that into next week's episode.
But we find out Kamir's motives, which is, I just want to be left alone.
Well, he wants his own religion. Not religion, but
He wants to be able to practice his power.
I want to be able to practice my religion wherever I want, whenever I want,
facing whichever direction I want.
towards Mecca.
It's them trying to hammer home again that the Jedi don't like other people doing things because of episode 3 where they're like, no one's allowed to teach children. But this guy isn't teaching children, and he's not really even teaching the Jedi way. Like, what way is he teaching? He's
Also-
teaching how to commit murder, which seems strange. Like, he says he wants an acolyte, but we still don't know why he wants an acolyte. Like, just saying, I want to train
It's
someone.
like every master wants an apprentice.
But what makes him the master? Why does he want to pass on? Because he's not passing on religion. He's passing on ways to kill a Jedi.
Well, that's his practicing, his ways.
But his plan is to kill Jedi, and he's using May to kill the Jedi. So I still don't see his plan. I'm really expecting by the time the end of the show and everything is revealed, it's going to be very, very dumb.
I don't think there's another shoe that we're waiting to drop. Like, I think not with him at least.
Yes,
I think
he gave us everything.
He's finished. The other shoe is what's gonna happen with the Jedi and how they're gonna try and cover this up. I think that's where they're gonna wrap it up, especially because they only really have 3 episodes, but one definitely has to be a flashback.
We need May's perspective, is what you mean. Yeah.
We need the what actually happened on Lesbian Witch Planet.
And there's also got to be something there from Kamir says to Sol,
Who are you? You don't remember me.
I sense something familiar.
so Sol should know who he is. But Sol doesn't say anything after the actual reveal. He's not like, my old apprentice or anything like that. And Yord says, oh, it's you. But he's referencing episode 2.
And Sol says, I feel a familiar presence.
Yes.
He says that.
But then doesn't say anything when his mask is off. Which means we're going to get another flashback, I guess, or we're just going to get like holo recordings of an old apprentice or something. It just doesn't seem impactful.
Yeah, or they're just talking about the one time they saw him in the apothecary shop.
And Sol didn't read his mind then either.
No.
Even though Sol, why would you give him mind reading powers? That just makes everything in your story
Because it's convenient
harder.
for when it needs to be convenient.
But he's only used it to calm down the crazy person. He didn't use it to prove that Osha was telling the truth about not doing it.
He just believed it.
Part of me is thinking he's definitely used it again, but he's never used it for a good reason. Like, there's never been like that. Every time it's like he's had a problem that could be solved by mind reading, he hasn't actually used it. Because he's stupid.
Or like sensing things. There has to just be one rule with how sensing things works, because why couldn't they sense when they met Kumia that he was a powerful Sith?
Yes.
Like,
Because he wasn't wearing his helmet then.
yeah, and people are just going to say like he was obviously suppressing his power level. Haven't you seen Dragon Ball Z?
In episode 2, when they go to meet Kamir in the shop, Yord has the idea of, I'll go knock him out and we'll drag him back to my place and then we'll get the answers we need, which would have worked great. But instead, Jackie is like,
That's a stupid idea.
you're dumb, Yord. For some reason, I don't like you. We've never seen why. We
Let's
just
send this civilian in to try and go undercover.
to go undercover as her sister despite looking or having different hair and not knowing what
And we
they
know
spoke
nothing about the sister, so
Yeah.
you're going to get your
we
cover
have, we have
blown.
no idea what their relationship is.
They're both black with braids.
But they're just hoping Kamir's a racist and can't tell the difference.
He's like, they are saying to me shit. I think they're going for the same thing or the same reasoning as why they couldn't sense that Palp was a Force user. They're
No,
like, he was under their nose the whole time.
But he was he was incredibly powerful, and also he started a war to cover up his intentions. Whereas this guy's just like drinking in a bar.
But then also, he might be strong enough that he get like Force heal wounds. Like, I think we might have seen, I don't know, the lighting was a bit funky.
It's incredibly hard to see because this episode called Night is completely set at night.
But it happened during the day. It happened during sunrise. He like,
it did.
He's saying some like Shakespearean stuff and like,
what a pair we are.
And like going to touch May's hiney. And then maybe as she turns, it turns from like a gash to like just blood on
To
skin.
just blood, yeah.
It's hard to see. Maybe I'm going to call it and say that's what that is.
Why does everything bring up force healing except the first 6 movies? Force healing did not exist in this 60-year period. After and before, though, everybody before
You obviously didn't read Legends.
Oh, we also get Beskar armor introduced that can knock out a lightsaber for a short period of time.
Unlightsabanium.
Coin it. TM. Wikipedia, get on it.
Wikipedia.
It's interesting because it takes away a Jedi's main weapon, so that's fun. But
Yeah.
also, I love that every time it happens, they look down and go, oh no. And when it happens to Jackie, she looks down, goes, "Oh no," and then looks back up and he's gone.
Yeah.
Like, this man is half Batman, half Magneto. And he does it 3 or 4 times in the episode.
Yeah, he does
just
it
like
to Soul
someone looks
twice
away.
and then to Jackie.
And then one time he gets a shirt thrown at him and he's like, tiny
Very
net.
true. Use the Force to be like, zoom. Or use your lightsaber and cut it in half.
Jackie decides to beat May up instead of force
Jackie
pushing
does
her.
pretty good. She's very proficient in combat.
Jackie is very cool. Rip Jackie.
R.I.P. Jackie.
Everybody dies.
She has a cool little fight scene with she uses 2 sabers and she's doing lots of spins and stuff.
It's pretty
cool.
impactful because it feels like the rest of the show has been super cartoony, the way people are treated, like the kung fu fights, and then like the very obvious death of Indar in episode 1, where she's just like, "Oh, tiny knife, it killed me." Whereas in this, people are just getting like absolutely destroyed. So it was, I was like, "Whoa, okay,
Yeah.
wasn't expecting that."
It was refreshing to be like, oh, this is an adult TV show now.
Yes, if you can turn your brain off, I think you might like this one. We mentioned only briefly, but May decides to be Osha now because that's her grand plan. May is stupid in this episode.
Does she want her life?
Well, let's go through May's journey real quick. May, for the first 2 episodes that she's in, wants to murder the 4 people that she thinks murdered everyone on her planet.
Correct.
Episode 3 tells us that May killed everyone on her planet, even though it's probably not true and there's shenanigans afoot. Episode 4, halfway through the episode, on a hike, May decides that I'm going to go rescue my sister, hang out with my sister. My sister is the only thing that matters to me. My loyalty is to my sister.
Correct.
Now that I know she's alive, everything has changed. I'm going to turn myself into the Jedi. Then she is able to, like, she gets confronted by Jackie. Instead of saying, "Okay, arrest me," she suddenly decides, "No, I'm going to kill Jackie now," because she tries multiple times to cut Jackie in the neck. And then she tries to take over Osha's life, and we know that Kamir is still alive, and she abandons her. She could have very easily picked up
Very
Osha,
true.
taken her to Sol, and said, "Dude, I'm turning myself in. This was messed up. I've got my sister. Let's go. Like,
Yeah.
like arrest me. Like her original plan last episode was arrest
I don't
me.
know what changed. What does her master being there change?
I guess she could be like, "Oh, I'm more afraid of him now." But why abandon your sister?
Yeah.
Like,
That was-
getting the hell out of there makes sense, but abandoning your sister? It is funny that Kamir, the whole time, last episode, running through on his hike, his big bag just had all his evil Darth Jedi stuff in it.
Yeah.
Like, he's just running around with that. It's like clanking as he walks, and May's like, "What the hell is that?" And he's like, "Nothing.
Water bottle?
My new Frankie Green."
Cheers.
They're going to get found out because the beaver knows the difference between
Yes.
May's scent and Osha's scent.
The beaver has the little droid flashlight.
Oh, yes, he also picked up Pip.
And he's going to be like, you don't smell like...
Yeah, will Pip know?
Will Soul understand him because Yord was the only one who knew how to speak?
Okay. If that's if it's the whole the dog is barking at the clone.
Yeah.
And it's like, "Oh, shut up, you dumb dog.
It's
Get outta
Scooby-Doo.
here."
Where's a man in a mask?
Mary Rainer's a man in a mask. Mary Jane is a man in a mask.
The people who write this show probably love to smell their own farts and think they're the greatest because they work on a Disney property now. But the writing was the worst part of this episode.
100%.
Like, especially the parts with our main character.
Like motivations.
Yeah, it's like, this is the first real meeting between the 2 sisters. This is the first time they can communicate and share words.
And instead it's a terrible fight because they're the same person. So
It turns into like the same thing where like when they were kids. So maybe they did a good job with like a nice through line there of even when they are
Oh, you enjoyed the line? You were never good at blocking.
No, didn't say that.
I also like
No.
that she fell over a little cliff and knocked herself out again. So that's 2 episodes in a row that end with...
Just main character gets knocked out. Well, we needed her to somehow change clothes with the other one.
Yes.
Oh my god.
What story are they telling? Like
Oh
when
my
you
God,
when you
they're
pitch...
telling this. This is Lindsay Lohan.
That's what I'm saying. It's Parent Trap.
This is
It's
Parent
worse
Trap.
Parent Trap.
This is Parent Trap.
But what I don't get is what story are they telling? Like when you pitch this story as like what's your 2-minute pitch for this?
Two of the most powerful Jedi, but ripped apart from each other at birth. One a Sith, one a Jedi. Their paths will cross eventually.
Put a chicken in it, making gay.
Can my wife be in it, please?
Can my wife be in it, please?
Please.
She's good with being bold and green. Oh, this could be Plagueis. I think technically. Kamir, I think could be Plagueis.
I saw someone say
I'm
something
not sure.
about.
I think the
Plagueis is
age
around
works
or
out.
something.
Yeah, because Palpatine is born in like 20 years, so this guy could get old and then train Palp.
But also he could like control life and death, so surely he was...
Skak and Force Heal. And he is the most powerful Jedi we've seen.
In canon!
So what if the pitch is, actually, this is Plagueis? Plagueis learnt it from the lesbian space witches.
But why wouldn't you just do an evil-oriented story rather than making that the big, oh my god, like why put it in your Acolyte TV show?
Plus, if they're pitching this as Kill Bill meets Frozen, there's only murder in the first 2 episodes. Frozen is sisterly love. There's barely, they don't even see each other or like each other. Like there's no real familial connection. It's funny that there's no chemistry between the 2 sisters considering they're the same person.
Yeah.
Like how do you f that up? What are you pitching this as? Because if you're pitching it as it's the fall of the Jedi because of their own hubris or something, then it's too messy. Like we're all over the place.
It's less a piece of rope.
It's called a thread.
Oh my god, he's one-upped me, my one-up. So I'm thinking, so you know how a thread, like the Force, is like lots of interconnecting like twine, like mixed around or like rotating. That's like a rope, right?
Okay, now I understand this metaphor. Sure.
Okay, this is more like spaghetti. All right?
A bowl of spaghetti.
A bowl of spaghetti. So they're trying to do like all of these stories interconnected, but instead they've written storylines and they've put them in the spaghetti bowl.
I think part of it is the fact that they have 8 episodes to cover. And they have probably about 3 episodes, or they have a movie length idea maybe. And then Disney is like, cool, now make it into an 8-part series, half an hour each. So that way you need to make each episode end with a bang. So now they're like, Corbin can die in this one. We'll stop this one at the end just so that we can have a full episode of fighting.
Yeah, I think this definitely just should have been one feature length episode. That way they would have had 4 more episodes to do another like climax and resolution. So imagine this was actually episode 4 with the last one and this one combined. It just went for, 45 minutes to an hour and it was just one big story. And then you can do your typical Star Wars writing of boring episode, flashback episode, climax, resolution.
Another great reason they should have just made this a movie. I don't know how many people are viewing this. Like, I don't know what the viewing figures are, but they would get a lot less hate if it was a movie because there would almost be too much stuff to say in one thing. And you wouldn't have had one episode that's lesbian space, which is one episode that's a hike. It would have been all one big thing. And if you do have a big ending that's really cool, people can talk about that. Like, people would have a lot more to rebut with. At the moment, people are like, oh my god, I love the characters. And it's like, what characters? Whereas if they did have an arc on display, you could be positive about it. I feel like if they did anything good, you could use that to kind of be like, sure, lesbian space witches wasn't great. People made some dumb decisions. But damn, that fight in the middle of the movie, that was crazy. Like, you would have something to come back on.
Instead, this whole series is just like stained by each episode having something horribly memorable in it.
Yeah, it makes it unwatchable because now you have to watch through a bunch of crap just to get to anything halfway decent. Like if I ever wanted to watch this episode again because I thought the fight was cool or Camille was badass, I would have to sit through lesbian space witches.
Well, I mean, you don't have to watch that.
I could just go on YouTube and type in Camille smashes that like button.
Did you like it? Did you hate it? Did you subscribe to us? All questions we'd like to know. If you liked this episode, let us know in the comments. If you hated this episode, let us know in the comments.
Make like Osha/May in every single episode of this and wake up. It's time for another episode. These aren't episodes anymore. Like what happened in this one?
This is almost like I'm watching a kid's TV show where the episodes, you don't have to kind of watch them in order. Nothing really important happens, but it's just something you catch at the end of a day.
All the momentum from last week is completely gone. The goal of this week is said in the title, teach/corrupt. So one of our people have to get taught and the other person has to get corrupted. The next one's going to be a flashback again, probably, which is weird to do for your second last episode, which just means you're relying way too much on that mystery to actually bring anything forward. Them swapping places should be halfway through the show.
I feel like there could be so much more after this, but that they have to wrap it up in 2 episodes' time.
In a Leslie Headland interview, it sounds like she knows what she's talking about. Like everyone keeps saying that, oh, Leslie Headland doesn't know Star Wars. And according to the show, it seems like she doesn't know writing. But it seems like she had a good idea for the actual show itself. But then I don't know why none of that was executed on screen. Like, did we end up with none of it because of the 8-episode structure? Like, were they forced into 8 half-hour episodes? Because no one grows in this episode. It's literally like you watch the first 10 minutes of an episode, but then they've stretched that over 25 minutes instead. Because all that really happens is Osha wakes up, sees a peepee, and she's like, oh, maybe the dark side isn't so bad, weirdly, considering the 2 friends she's made recently were murdered by this guy. But she's conflicted suddenly.
Well, it's because every villain has to be like a sob story who's also like has a point. It's like, but I only became a villain because I was hurt before.
He says that he only killed the Jedi because he was defending himself, but he was only on the planet to kill a Jedi. So it's just nonsensical bullshit just so that they can end up talking in like pseudo-philosophical means. He's like, it's a very clunky way of saying, from my point of view, the Jedi are evil.
Yes. I feel like he does that kind of like word
spaghetti.
He's like trying to do like word arithmetic at her.
He's meant to be seducing her to the dark side.
Yeah.
But they take that really weirdly sexually, and she sees him naked, and she goes from pretty much ready to kill him, right? So she gets a knife at the beginning of the episode, and then she gets his lightsaber because he's taking a dip. He's taking a little skinny dip.
Yeah.
And instead of it being like, I will still kill him, she's like, oh, he's naked and vulnerable now, and he has a scar on his back. I can fix him.
It's so funny because she's like, I'm here as a prisoner, aren't I? And he's like, you're the one with the lightsaber. You don't look like a prisoner. You got her to this planet. She woke up in your Sith cave and she doesn't know how to get off the planet.
You shouldn't call it a Sith cave.
That's almost the definition of she's a prisoner. She can't just leave. She's on an island in the middle of the ocean.
And the ship's on another island because that's how you would do that.
Yes.
Like you would only park your ship in a place that's only available low tide. He's spitting pseudo-philosophical babble at her, and that's convincing her not to attack. Not in any sensical mean. I still also don't feel like I even know Osha. So it's kind of hard for me to think that, oh, maybe she could be seduced by the dark side. The only person we've seen her have a proper relationship with was Jackie. Like, I could see them doing a relationship with Jackie. And if this is the gayest Star Wars ever, wouldn't that make more sense?
Both May and Osha, they've made them change their characters so much. Like, they almost go through like a whole character arc in every episode, and like they're like going like 180s to 180s every episode.
May's was weird because hers were happening on screen. So May would make a decision, then the next scene should do something completely different. So she's like, oh, I'm going to kill the Jedi. Oh, I don't want to kill the Jedi. I love my sister. Oh, I'm going to kill my sister. Oh, I'm going to turn myself into the Jedi. Oh, I'm going to kill the Jedi. Oh, I'm going to use Soul to figure out what happened as a child. Although also, wouldn't she know what happened to her as a child? Because she was there. Like, she woke up, right?
Which one?
She woke
May?
up next to the bunta tree.
Okay, yep.
Also, how did she wake up next? What the why did she wake up
Because
next to
Soul probably took her there. That's what he's...
No, Soul thought she died, fell down the cliff.
But
we see Soul leave like immediately.
But he knows. I bet he knows.
Yeah, it's like you'd think she would know what happened, but then I remembered that the whole mountain exploded, which means all the dead bodies were probably more dead.
She was shielded in the corpses of her dead
She got launched,
space mothers.
and then she would work
Very
up.
true. Osha goes through the same.
But off screen, which is weird.
You meet her and she wants to be as far away from the Jedi. It flashes back. She wants to be a Jedi. She escapes from the Jedi and crashes on like a planet. And then she wants to join them again. And then she wants to find her sister.
Then no, she wants to not find her sister. And then she wants to find her sister.
And then she wants to now be a Sith, maybe? Or at least is like entertaining the idea of
they're just
being a Sith.
They're just such non-characters. And it's happening in such non-episodes. Because again, she wakes up, she gets flooded with a little, and then the episode ends. Whereas May wakes up. Does May wake up this episode? No, May's already awake. May's on the ship. She's going to kill Soul. She decides not to kill Soul. And then they leave. She has one conversation with him, gets shot in the back, wakes up. She does wake up in the episode because she gets knocked out. And then when she wakes up, she has another conversation tied to a bed. And then the episode ends. It's like, this really is the first 10 minutes of an episode in the middle of a season. There's just so little going on here.
It's so weird. So obviously Leslie's Nepo wife partner has the cool purple whip. So every character, if they're not interesting enough, you just give them a cool lightsaber. You know, Kylo, you give him the crossguard lightsaber.
Oh, that's cool.
Green Lady, you give her the whip lightsaber. And then I'm sure May's going to have one that's a big subscribe button. I'm at the moment rewatching Gen V, the boys spin-off show, and I've been telling Dan this whole time. So that show is also an 8-episode spin-off show. That show does so much with 8 episodes, even though each episode is like 10 to 15 minutes longer than your average one of these.
I'd say it has to be closer to double, to be honest.
Well, yeah, some of these episodes, like the day and night episodes were like so short. But even still, they had an 8-episode. They still stuck to 8 episodes.
And it costs less.
But even if those episodes were only half of them, there's something always going on. There's always like solid character development happening every episode. They're grabbing from this. And I don't understand. The boys' universe is like small already, but this has an entire universe that they can pick as much as they want, as little or as much.
It's got all the High Republic comics.
For some reason, this has more to work with and does less. I don't understand. This just feels so slow.
Well, it had characters, like it had Yeki and Jeki and Yord.
Yeki and Jeki.
But they don't use them. Like, Yord stays completely stagnant his entire time and then gets his neck snapped. Jeki is the most interesting person we've had, and then she also gets completely deleted.
They haven't perfected putting Star Wars into television yet. I think they're trying to make a movie into a TV show where like they're trying to use the same pacing techniques. It's not working. I don't think you should have necessarily slow episodes of a TV show. They should all make you feel good for watching them. Whereas like this would be an episode, or the day episode would be one that I skip on a rewatch.
Yeah, like there's no reason to have a 20-minute build-up episode where all you're doing is getting characters from A to B.
Whereas like I'd never skip an episode if I was rewatching like Game of Thrones or Breaking Bad or a good television series. I would never skip an episode. Whereas this one, I feel like so much inconsequential stuff. I'd skip the kids episode. I'd skip the day episode.
The kids episode just had so little bearing on anything. It's so
Even
funny.
the Torbjorn episode. It's all just so unimportant and uninteresting.
I don't even know if they'll be able to do like a movie-length supercut out of this, like how they did with the Obi-Wan movie. There's so little going on here, and it's all hinging around making us wait 8 weeks to find out a mystery. That's all it is. That's why they did episode 3. Episode 3 did no real character work apart from, one twin wanted to be a witch, one wanted to be a Jedi. And then they grew up so dramatically that it doesn't matter at all anymore. So the only thing episode 3 actually gave us was the fact that there are a bunch of dead witches. We said from the very beginning that the Ahsoka flashback episode was like episode 5 or 6. And it feels like episode 3 was supposed to be episode 5 or 6. But they realized that there was no actual drive, like there was no real mystery, so they had to move it so much further forward.
Yeah.
And then it was so inconsequential to everything else that it's just kind of like, it's there to focus a mystery. Without the mystery, this show has nothing except bad acting. I feel bad. Manny Jacinto this episode had nothing to do, which was lame. Like, he just walked around. Whereas last week, he was actually really intimidating.
It's interesting. It's like night and day with his character. Last week, it's like, oh, okay, this is a believable Sith.
Minus his drive of, I want an Acolyte.
But he's giving strong monologues. He's saying things that are like almost like hurtful to a Jedi, like to hear, you know, about like emotions and how they're fighting and, you know, losing people and like getting emotions into it. But then in this one, maybe because he doesn't have the backboard of like battle and like the grit of fighting to bounce himself off, he just has to like monologue on a beach or monologue in a hut. So that's what I'm trying to get across here is he just has to be moody.
Seductive.
That's the one thing you don't see. It's like, yeah, but what was Darth Maul doing when he was in the kitchen cooking soup?
He was shirtless, being sexy.
This guy, honestly, he has a challenge set out for him where they're like, I want a Sith who he's sitting there and he's making soup and he's trying to tell a fallen Jedi Padawan about his story and to kind of get them onto his side and tell him about how he's been ashamed and beaten by the Jedi. Can you do that for us? And he's like, yeah, sure. Takes off his shirt.
And it doesn't help him at all that because they need to stretch it out, Osha and Kamir will say something and then the scene will end and we'll go see May and Sol for like 3 seconds. They'll do one tiny thing, like they'll go from one room to the next room. Like I think one of the cuts is May goes to check on the engine room and then it cuts back to Kamir and Osha. Like they have so little to do that they keep just Star Wars wiping just to stretch it out. Because really, this is one 5-minute conversation and another 5-minute conversation stretched out to half an hour.
But you forget, we also had another 5-minute conversation of Leslie Headland's girlfriend telling off a little twink Jedi.
She has so little to do.
But don't you get spaceship sick when you go in the spaceship? And she's like, I don't like travel. Is that okay with you? And he's like, okay.
And you could say Obi-Wan didn't like flying, but he wasn't like, oh, I get a tummy ache about it. But I think Leslie Headland's wife is only in this episode.
Because nepotism.
So that we can see her use her whip. It's funny that whip made it into the trailer so that people will be like, oh, Star Wars whip. Whereas it's literally only in this to cut a bug in half and to show us that she has the
One
whip.
of those nocturnal bugs that they showed us only comes out at nighttime and it's attracted to light. One of those ones.
She's only in this episode so that she can use her whip so that we can go, oh, whip. Ah, Kamir's back scars. Oh my goodness.
Yes.
And also so many people know that there's a bunch of dead Jedi via a lightsaber. So now they're trying to very flimsily pin it all on Sol.
They have to kill 3 more Jedi and Sol.
And a twink.
Yes.
But they need to pin it on Sol so that the canon of Sith not around for a millennia stays intact. I don't care about the canon, honestly. I don't care that Ki-Adi-Mundi's alive. It's stupid, but I don't care. What's stupid is that Leslie Headland's wife's decision to pin it on Sol comes from the fact that they still kind of want to keep the canon, and / she's evil, so that's why she's keeping stuff from the High Council. It just makes no sense.
Is that what the corruption's talking about, or is it talking about Osha being corrupt? Makes you think, doesn't it?
Oh my goodness. Well, Osha's just horny all the time.
Also, how did you feel about him? He's like fixing his mask, and I don't know what the line that Osha says to prompt it, but he's like, I yearn for 2, or whatever he says.
She's like, what do you want? And he's like, the power of 2.
The power of 2?
So if he's not connected to the witches in any way, then that is the dumbest thing ever.
Is this the originator / like, is he just talking about rule of 2? Is he talking about Osha and May? Does he
I don't even know how old he is.
The power of 2, the power of 1, the power of many.
I can't believe how twinky that guy is.
There he is. Oh, quick. I have to deliver bad news. They're all dead. How was that? Good? Okay. I hated it.
I mean, his acting in general was terrible.
His acting was horrible.
And also, how do you be such a wimpy Jedi? Like, you train your whole life and you come out like that? That sucks. That's unlucky, bro.
I want it to be so much more. I want it to be more.
I feel like it could be. I feel like you have the ingredients. Like, you got Jecki. Even Jecki and Yord could have had something going on, but instead they were nothing, and now they're dead.
We see their rotting corpses.
Yeah, that's exciting. That's just such a waste of time. And like, Sol decided to not stick around for like backup, even though they knew where he was. So he just went off to who knows where. Everyone just does something stupid in this episode.
Also, they did like jump out and jump in within like 1 second of each other.
Lucky.
I'm like, come on. You kind of touched on it before. I wanted to bring it up. Leslie's the one with the glasses, right? Leslie Headland?
Yes.
She, in all her interviews, she's saying the right buzzwords to make you think, or, you know, to convince you that she is a Star Wars fan. Like, she's saying things like practical puppets and practical alien costumes. Like, people love that shit. And I play D&D, and like, this is kind of based off a D&D campaign, and this character, or I want to do something with this character from like a KOTOR game.
She puts the Kylo Ren theme in there because that's important. I'm sick of Russell T Davies did it with Doctor Who as well. They talk about the upcoming episodes in interviews between episodes to build hype for the next episode, and it feels like the actual creator is doing more legwork that isn't making it onto the screen. Like, she says a bunch of stuff that sounds great, but then the way she talks about Camilla, actually, and there's his statement of purpose that comes right before the moment you're like, man, somebody must have effed this guy. Somebody must have tried to take this guy's freedom. What? Because he's not effing around in terms of protecting himself and what he has to do. What does he have to do? He's going out of his way to kill people. He's not the good guy.
I hate this whole like honor system when it comes to fighting Nazis in space.
Well, it's the reason Osha doesn't kill him in this episode.
It's like, I'm unarmed. It's like, yeah, but if Hitler wasn't pointing the gun at me, I'd still take the shot.
They have superpowers.
He's always armed.
He can force push you away.
He has arms. He's armed.
He could force choke you. He's holding the lightsaber at one point and she's still not killing him.
She could end everything right now.
Maybe she wouldn't, but I haven't seen that in her character, so I have no idea.
Part of her character, or what they were painting her character as, was she wanted to be a good guy again. She was excited about tapping back into the Force.
Well, they don't even really go into why she left the Jedi. They play it like mysteriously.
She said, I failed my test.
She says that in this episode.
Yeah. I don't know what that means. Like, you failed a test, like, actually, or there's something bigger that happened. How are you going to show that in 2 episodes?
I don't think we're ever going to find out. Like, how in 2 half-hour episodes coming up, or even 2 45s, how are they in any way going to wrap up this story?
You have to show the background of Camilla. You have to show the background of May or Osha, what happened on the planet, how Osha got kicked out of the Jedi Temple,
how Sol betrayed,
how
Sol did evil, how Green
Lady became that, how they're going to cover up this whole thing, and also kill or murder, plus have regular story happening in like present day, as well as all those flashbacks.
Yeah, neither of them are anywhere near completing an arc or even starting an arc, to be honest. If they actually had kept May on the path of, oh, I actually care about my sister from episode 4, then it's like that would have actually been her on her character journey. She's like, oh, I'm doing revenge because they killed my family. Oh, wait, my sister's alive. That's more important. Like, they started her on an arc and then they just turned it off. It's nonsensical.
I'm worried that Leslie wrote this to be like a 2 or 3 season long thing where it's Star Wars TV. You can't have storylines that carry over 3 seasons. I'm sorry. It needs to be, you need to wrap it up in one because there's a 70% chance you're not getting...
You're going to get cancelled.
Yeah.
Well, Andor was years ago.
Ahsoka, where's that season 2, huh?
That was only last year, though.
I haven't heard a peep.
But this is not a good episode. Last week was watchable. Like, last week you're at least like, oh, that's cool. Like, oh, that's shocking.
I'm sick of the Star Wars fandom last week. That was worded funny. I'm sick of how the Acolyte protectors finally banded together. Like, they got a checkmate on...
Where are you laughing now?
On the haters. Like, we're haters. No, we're people who are hurt by this. We are... Come here. They were like, huh? Best lightsaber combat since episode 3, huh? Best fight scenes, best storytelling, best reveals, best force, best this, huh? Where's your comeback now, huh?
I disagree with that whole thing just because like Sol would vanish for like half the fight, then Jackie would vanish. So like it wasn't well choreographed. It was flashy. It was very flashy and it's shocking occasionally. It wasn't actually very good. But yes, they used that. They drowned out their own opposition by just commenting like, oh, no one's saying anything bad about this, because you'd have to scroll down way too far to actually find anything bad.
Yeah, but I was talking to the fella from the Game of Thrones and Doctor Who reviews, Stephen. I'm not waiting an hour and a half for the good scene in a movie. And even when it is the case, like, I don't know if anybody watched Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Oh, yeah.
That movie is famous for nothing happens for 2 hours and 50 minutes, and then everything happens in the last 10 minutes, and then credits. This is not that. I'm not waiting in my fantasy TV show. It's a TV show. It has to bring me back every week. That should be the point of when you write the show. What's going to bring them back next week? That should be on the fucking whiteboard.
Well, they don't even have time for a stinger.
What was the stinger of this episode, Daniel? Do you remember it?
She put a mask on.
Exactly. And then she went...
She thought she was Darth Vader.
And then just wiped to credit to written by Leslie Headland.
It was a weird wipe.
Great job, Big Les. That's a reference. I'm not calling her a Big Lesbian.
That's her name, I swear.
Put up a picture of Big Les.
But yeah, inconsequential episode. It is annoying that Leslie Headland's wife in like 3 or 4 minutes of every episode just to remind us she's still there, which makes, again, she has to be the bad guy.
Just so she can pay the bills as well.
Yes, I'm sure that helps. But she could have been an actual character, but no.
This just in. Local man found scouring a forest for small children. No, not that one. Yep, that one.
This week's episode of Nonsense, or Goodness, depending on how you're feeling.
I think this week on, we called it. We always called that this episode was always going to be a flashback episode.
And it was always a bad idea.
Yeah.
There's no good reason to cut away from our climax to just go back to the very beginning. My main problem with this episode is, what did we learn that we didn't already know? So from the other episodes, we had thought, yes, the Jedi did something bad, and May probably isn't to blame for the murders. But
not wholly.
Yeah, like May started a fire, but they took Osha. What did we learn that was different to that?
Everybody just accurately guessed what would have happened, like,
because it's the most obvious thing.
It's the most obvious thing. They really told this story already through like small tidbits through the other episodes.
Yeah.
They're kind of doing a disservice to themselves by doing this. I mean, I understand like it's like the duality of the episode. You see it now from the Jedi side, but it's like you're ruining your own storytelling because the story that you've told and that we have to piece together, you're now just like giving to us.
Yes. What they left out of episode 3 and they gave us in this flashback wasn't really anything that no one else saw. Like when you do a point of view perspective episode, like The Witcher tried to do it, where it's a party is going on and you get to see that party from each person's individual perspective. And the way it's supposed to work, things get recontextualized and you don't know what happened before, but now you actually get to find out. Whereas here, it's just like they left out bits they thought would add to the mystery. So it wasn't even really a mystery. It was, we didn't show you certain things so that you would be asking, what happened there? Like,
I think the only thing that we got was just finding out about Master Torbjorn's incel rage in his younger years.
God, he's such a fucking incel.
He's like, I have cum coming out of my eyes. Please take me back to Coruscant with the bots.
Why the fuck did he want to go back to Coruscant? He's just homesick.
He's young. He didn't join this religion to
travel the
bored.
galaxy. So he's mad at traveling the galaxy because he's a Jedi, whereas Osha wants to become a Jedi to travel the galaxy.
Torbjorn's like, you're really in for it, huh?
I did not sign up for this.
7 weeks at space camp.
7 weeks isn't even in fairness, he didn't actually sign up for this because he was kidnapped as a child to become a Jedi.
Yeah.
So there's slight humor in that. But just the way they present him as, yes, a giant incel that just wants to go home. Why is home different? He hangs out with Master and Dara all the time.
Yeah.
He's a Jedi Padawan. He doesn't have a life. He literally trains with...
It's the mission. Your life is the mission.
He's probably never on Coruscant. He's probably been constantly doing whatever Indara has so that he can learn the ropes.
I guess he just probably like misses his friends, like from the academy and stuff. Well, she says it's anxiety.
Well, does he have friends? Because we see Jackie in previous episodes in a classroom full of people learning how to swing a stick around. She never talks to any of them. She talks to Osha and seems to have a connection with Osha.
Well, the kids are just set dressing. There's only actually like 3 or 4 Jedi.
Some of them are actually just CGI people.
Correct.
Extras are expensive.
They're hologram.
We only have $180 million. We have to digitally replicate people
Correct.
instead.
All those diverse children.
But you didn't answer my question. What did we even learn? What did we learn? We learned the incel rage.
We learned incel rage.
We learned that Sol didn't run from one end of the room to only just grab Osha in time, like they showed us.
He had to make a choice.
He was holding 2 bridges up instead and decided because he had a connection with Osha in a very, very creepy way, he had to drop May to save Osha because holding bridges is hard. Turns out holding kids is less hard though. Like, what's a 10-year-old kid weigh? I don't know. I don't hang out with many 10-year-old kids, unlike some people.
I'm going to say 25 kilos.
25 kilos each? That seems reasonable. Yes, like, if you can grab onto these 2 things, you can grab onto these 2 children. With the force. You can force yourself.
You can force yourself.
So you can lift these children up using your Jedi mind powers.
What if he isn't a very strong force user? What if he's more in a combat, lightsaber combat, or a mind reading type?
Then he shouldn't be allowed to become a Jedi Master.
He is a Jedi Master.
They show Kelnaka lifting 2 people with the Force. It's not like they've shown that you can't lift people with the Force. It's that he, in that specific moment, thought, I will lift up these 2 heavy bridges instead of these 2 light children. Lets one of them die. So that's the realization, that Sol let May die. And the other big thing that Sol did was Sol killed Mistress Anastasia? Witchmaster Anastasia?
Yeah, he killed Black Mama.
But why did he kill him?
Well, Mother Anastasia gets in between Sol and Torbjorn and the Zebrak lady between their fight, and then she kind of dissipates into a big subscribe button.
You should hit that thing.
Hit that thing.
You gotta...
on that subscribe tag. She was turning into nanobots.
She was turning into the smoke monster from Lost.
But May was also turning into smoke machine bots. So what I think that was, they said that May and Osha are splitting of the same consciousness.
Yes.
Technically because they were created. I think that they came from Anastasia and then Anastasia split them.
You're saying Anastasia cloned herself and split it into 2 people?
Yeah, like a Jurassic Park dinosaur.
And put it inside of Darth...
Russian Zebrak lady.
Yeah.
I think what was happening in my mind canon is she was either just apparating somewhere, Harry Potter style, or she was going to suck Osha back into her.
Oh.
Yes.
To protect her? Why? Because May runs out.
And Sol says, Osha?
Racist. So Sol and Torben break into this complex to rescue these children.
They scale a mountain.
To rescue these children from this cult because they have decided that the cult is dangerous. Even though they've seen nothing like that. This man is just like, a bunch of women? Hell no, we ain't be allowing that.
There's subtle context clues that people mention.
The galaxy doesn't like women like us?
Maybe. Someone said the word sacrifice to him and he was like, sacrifice?
But he was already willing to break into this place to follow these children because he thought they were in danger before that.
Yeah.
But anyway, so Torben and Sol scale Mount Doom to climb in, and basically Torben wants to get these kids off these witches so that he can go home. So he's ready to fight Zabrak woman while he's getting aimed at by a bunch of bows. And then Sol says, no, don't do that. And then Zabrak and Torben are like, we're going to fight. Then May runs out and goes, Mama. And Anastasia's reaction to that is to burst into smoke.
Well, she screams, no. She's like, no.
And Sol's reaction to a woman bursting into smoke, honestly, it's the most fair reaction anyone's
If
ever
I
had.
could do it, I would.
If someone burst into smoke in front of me and I had a lightsaber...
I'm sick of my wife bursting into smoke around me. That witch.
Yeah, so then Sol stabs her in the chest, And then because she's not completely smoke at this point, she dies. And like you said, May was also half bursting into smoke. And I guess Sol thought that was bad.
I think he thought that it was Osha and that the mum was taking her away. Like they were just going to disapparate somewhere.
What is this man's obsession with Osha?
I don't know. That was like another big part of the episode or something they thought was big. Tell me how you feel about each scene. The Jedi are now collecting plant samples to see how much force is in the planet. How do you feel about that?
That's the reason. So in episode 3, they say that, oh, we didn't know there were any witches here. And we're like, are you lying?
Yeah.
Turns out, no, there's nothing interesting there. They weren't lying. They were literally picking up plants, putting it in a blender and being like, how many midichlorians are in this plant? Because
for 7 weeks.
Because in the worst dialogue ever, Trinity says to Torben, someone that would know this because it's their whole mission, 100 years ago, me and my brother Sokka discovered an airbender named Aang. No, there was a hyperspace incident and everything was blown up, but this planet's thriving. And it's like he's sitting there and he's just like, but I just want to go home.
I want to play my holo games.
You can play your holo games when we get back to the ship. Also, they have a camp and they have a ship. So it's like, this camp is literally just like 4 logs and a fake fire.
And a roast chicken.
And a Wookiee eating a chicken.
I would not insult a Wookiee's cooking. Wouldn't him getting insulted over cooking destroy the whole purpose of becoming a Jedi Master, being in control of your emotions?
Yes. But no, he's not in his emotions because he gets mind banged later on.
No, it's cultural.
I can give him the getting mind raped by a bunch of witches because there was a bunch of witches and it's like, that's more fair game.
They need to split up for some reason because they haven't finished mapping out the whole forest. So Sol goes and does like the north sector of it.
In bad CGI. How are the speeders looking worse than they do in the movie?
Especially the shot of Torben jumping on the speeder and zooming off is literally just like, as soon as he jumps on, it's just like JPEG of him sliding off screen.
I'll make you go.
I don't have to move, it'll just move me.
You put in more work than they did. Yeah.
So Sol stumbles upon the girls in the Bontu tree.
So Sol's sneaking around the woods. And it's really creepy because in the distance, he just sees these 2 subscribe buttons and he goes over and just starts hitting one of them and he's ringing the subscribe button. You should try it. Yeah, and sees them use the Force immediately, which is super convenient, but fine.
And sudden Zebrak from behind a tree. You get that part?
Yeah.
It's just like watching, and then she's like, hello there.
Whoop.
The only way that could happen if she literally stood.
She was walking perfectly down behind the tree.
Ridiculous.
She's like, girls, hello there. What are you doing?
Because he watched these people use the Force, he doesn't even go back to Trinity. He literally sneaks into their base immediately.
He does follow them.
He follows them all the way back to their house.
Stalking them.
And then the platform, because he can't slice it himself. I love that. I'm going to try to find us being like, what the hell is slicing the platform?
The Jedis have cut the bridge.
They've sliced the platform.
Oh, that one. No, sliced the... Like, what does that mean?
The platform.
Yeah, what does that mean?
It's a space thing. You wouldn't get it.
Torben literally has the line.
It's some type of elevator platform.
And Dara's like, slice it. Hilarious. And he can't get through their front door. So instead of like ringing the doorbell and being like, wow, that's pretty crazy, guys, he scales Mount Doom.
Literally, he spends an entire day just scaling a mountain and like jumping from rooftop to rooftop, spying on these.
And yes, sneaking around their thing. And we get the recontextualized moment. We thought the moment in episode 3 where the Zabrak looks out into the power generator was because something was like someone had f***ed with something. And we're like, oh, that's why there's the big explosion later. No, Sol just made a noise while sneaking around.
Just on an eve and just like...
He was just playing Splinter Cell alone, Assassin's Creed, and that's why. It was funny to watch because we were like, oh my god, it was that. But that was because we had made so much fun of it for the last 4 weeks. Because it was like, what could have made her look out there? No, it's literally just a creaky bridge. Next,
Indara wants to consult the council before doing anything further.
One thing I will say about Indara is they play her much kinder in this episode, which is really strange.
I thought she was meaner.
No, I think in episode 3, she's much blunter and she's like, she has an entire conversation with May where it was cut out of episode 3 because Osha wasn't there. But Indara to May is like, oh my god, that's such a beautiful tattoo you have. Like, that, do you want to be a witch? Like, tell me about your culture.
Yeah.
Because women got to be kind.
No trick.
She was stupid. She was 3 stupid dumb men.
Except for when she was talking to Sol, because Sol's like, oh my god, there's a bunch of space witches. I think I want to take one of them as my Padawan. And she's like, whoa, Buster Brown. Let's just hold on a little bit here. This is a child of a strange alien.
She's also
space
above
coven.
the age that we're allowed to kidnap kids.
Yes.
Like, she doesn't berate him, I guess, about it, but she's like, you're forming a weird emotional attachment to this kid.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you should back off. It just doesn't blend with later on where she's like, we have to lie to the council because they didn't actually cause any problems. Like they could have skewed it a bit differently.
Well, they did
we'll
because
get to it.
Saul's a creep and he wants to.
Yeah.
And she was like, that's why I have a Padawan and you don't. Anyway, so after that, you see like the scene from episode 3. They slice the bridge. They go and they ask to see the girls. You kind of see how the Space Witch's mind control works, where it's just like they invade your mental palace and like give you your utmost desires.
The way we thought this episode was going to play out was episode 3 was Osha's side of the story. We thought we were going to get May's side of the story, but instead we kind of got Soul's / everyone else's because we got to see inside of Torben's head. So we saw a lot of stuff that no one else got to see.
Yeah.
Torben's incel rage lets his mind lay open to witches. And she plays off literally that he wants to go home. And she's like, hey, I'd let you go home.
I can help you.
Me and the dark side.
I can fix that. Put in the clip from the movie Holes. I can fix that.
Let us take over your mind and I'll let you go home.
We see May's Jedi test and Trinity
didn't
kind
see
of
May's
trying to
Jedi
find
test
out
in the
about her.
original.
Yeah, we just see Osha like being inquisitive outside. Soul really, really wants Osha to pass, so he fudges.
Really wants this kid.
Really, I really want this kid. Please, can I keep her?
He bribes her by giving her the lightsaber in episode 3, but this time he's like, so many kids. I've got so many kids.
So many kids. You're gonna love it.
I'm pretty sure that's what the man in the van outside my school once told me. He was
I
like,
got lots of kids in here.
I'll take me and these kids and the free candy.
And I got a lightsaber.
Lightsabers,
How
candy,
many
kids?
I got plenty of spice creams back here. Yeah, they go to a camp and they're arguing over Soul's...
Over whether Soul can take this kid or not.
Yeah.
It's weird as well, because he never says, I need to get these girls away. I need to kidnap Osha. I need to kidnap Osha. I have a connection
He has
with
a fascination with Osha.
This all happens before he even actually talks to her, because he talks to May first, and he's still obsessed with Osha while talking to May, and he's just seen them from a distance as well.
He only really had like a connection with Osha when she came up to him and was like,
I like your lightsaber.
How does it feel?
They don't repeat everything, thankfully. I was really worried they were just going to straight up just replay the whole episode to stretch it to 44 minutes.
But we get at space camp, Indira comes in because she was waiting for the council's decision, and she goes, nope, sorry, they're too old. The council don't want them. We gotta just keep on keeping on here. Well, while Indara and Soul are fighting, Torben's like, wait, their blood results have come back.
In episode 1, Qui-Gon uses the Gillette razor to literally take Anakin's blood, pop it on it, and it sends it to Obi-Wan, and he's like, hey, Obi-Wan, what's it say? And he's like, these midichlorians are off the charts. But here, they
Full
take the
panel
blood
work.
and then like nighttime, like most of a day later, he's like, bleep bloop, I have the answers now. Turns out,
Oh my god, conveniently, these have come through.
they're symbiote, or they're Sibian.
They're like
the sex thing.
They're genetically the same person.
Yes, and he
said
no.
even twins wouldn't have this similarity of a genetic splicing.
But those fucking cowards still don't have the bravery to say the word midichlorians. Goddamn Bad Batch kept saying M count.
Oh, really?
And now this show won't even say it. Fucking say midichlorians.
I love in any type of science or doctor show to show that something similar, having them both side by side and then having them go over each other. I was like,
there's a button for that in every software. It's overlay.
Overlay. And it's just 3 bars that shows like force sensitivity in 3 bars. Like, interesting.
It's a puzzle mini game where you have to match 2 things and it puts them together. It goes doo doo, and then like no, that didn't work. Then you go try 2 others.
That's Spider-Man 2. It's Spider-Man 2.
It is
gene sequencing. But then Torben's like, oh my god, this is my proof. Rather than just sending the proof.
The reason they're on the planet is to find the virgins.
The virgins.
And he's like, oh, this is the virgins.
These
if
are the
I
virgins.
kidnap these 2 little girls, I get to go home to Coruscant.
And I'll be a hero.
That's his whole brain.
No one stops him.
But Soul goes after him to stop him. So like they're like, no, wait, come back. And then Soul does actually leave to go stop him. But then they both get there. And then they check the platform and it can no longer be sliced because May has broken it.
They locked the door.
Because the female Zabrakian was like, May, if you don't want your kid to leave, break this shit. So they can't get in.
Also more child horrible acting, by the way.
Oh,
throughout
so bad.
all of this.
So bad.
Do you want your sister to leave? Then don't let her leave.
And then she uses the Force and she's like holding her mum back. Yeah, she does the whole thread.
More earthbending.
Thread thing.
More Avatar The Last Airbender.
But the bad one.
But the bad one. So they climb Mount Doom again.
They climb. Soul is like, come with me.
Shield your mind.
Even though Soul went there to stop him, he's like, oh no, they're locked in their own house. They close the doors at night. Even though we broke in last time, and now we can't break in anymore.
Even though we can just wait, and we have a spaceship, we can just fly in the top. I think he's worried that they're going to sacrifice them.
But imagine if I went to your house, right? Your door was locked, so I broke in. And then I came back the next night, and you had doubled the security, and I still couldn't get in. And I was like, Marco's in trouble. So then I climb into your roof. I go in through the fucking chimney. Like, what is going on?
And my wife had just locked the doors. She's like, fuck, I'm not going to make sure this guy doesn't take my boyfriend.
And I'm like, I have an emotional connection with your husband.
I need your husband. He's my Padawan.
I need him.
I want to make a YouTube channel. You took him from me.
This show's so fucking stupid.
But anyway, we get...
No, on the way in, sorry. On the way in, Soul is like, don't let them take over your mind again.
Soul does say it to Torb at the bottom of the mountain.
It's not till they're in there that she says, you shouldn't have brought him.
But my mind, it's shielded.
It's fortified.
It's fortified.
Because remember, we had his eyes closed earlier. So yeah, now instead of the Padawan being taken over, which is a lot more feasible because Padawan, I guess he fortified. So now the Wookiee gets taken over.
Now this Jedi Master that knew about mind control powers in this Coven of Witches.
But he a big monkey.
Oh, true. And also every single witch on the planet apparently was combined
in a
to
little circle.
Him. Yes. That's why they were all dead in a circle. Get it?
Cut back to us asking, why are they in a circle? But that's how not dead they all looked. Because they're all like lying next to each other in like a clump of like 10. So it's like they were all having a little gathering. And then someone yelled like, red light. And then they all had to fake death or something.
Yeah, you don't even see like people crying over some people's dead bodies and stuff.
Yeah, no rubble. It's not being like the ceiling caved in.
And dying or people running around. Everyone's just already dead.
Instantly dead.
Indara killed them all with her brain magic.
By breaking their control on another guy, Indara killed all of them.
Do you know what we should have seen? If they had maybe more time, because I feel like the end, there was like
it's so
quickly
rushed.
put together. Yeah.
We spend like 20 minutes
we
of
should
just
have We should have gotten like a 5-minute scene of when Indara jumped on Wookiee to go into his mental palace. She should have projected herself into his head, and like with Torb, when Torb was seeing Mummy around, she should have been killing them all.
We get the Matrix, so then it's a bunch of women fighting Indara, and Indara is kicking the shit out of everyone.
As she's killing
and she can't use her lightsaber because she's in the mind palace.
Kung Fu, tying it all back.
We just made the Kung Fu make sense.
And then we see all the women slowly dying in like order of when she's killing them
in a crowd.
Instead of just she's holding his brain, and then they all just go. An old witch McWinkle face just like turns into a puddle of wrinkles.
That old fucking crone.
I was like, oh no, they're gonna give her lines. Like they didn't.
No, they gave plenty of lines.
Regardless of what they're trying to prove with this show, Trinity did kind of prove that the power of one was better than the power of many. We touched on it a bit, but we stopped just before they have Wookiee fight, which is actually probably the best part of this episode. Because we had to see like this overwhelming force of Wookiee.
And it's the thing we were promised, and it makes more sense, as in the bad choreography makes sense, because Soul gets like knocked to one side and then doesn't join in the fight for another minute or something because he's waiting
I
off to
remember
the
you
side.
going like, what's Soul doing right now? And then like 5 seconds later, Wookiee just turns around and Soul's just like, hello.
You had a semi-good reason, which was that they don't want to kill him. Yeah. And I'm like, yes, I guess. But also, he knows Kung Fu. That might not work on a Wookiee, but you still wouldn't stand off to the side, right? Like, it's just very bad choreography to just like fight one person at a time while the other person waits behind.
Yeah, at least just overpower him like with your lightsabers.
Yeah, knock him out. Like even the prequels got around it by almost every fight they got into. Like Count Dooku in episode 2, Obi-Wan immediately gets cut in the leg and like thrown to the side, and then Anakin comes in for the single fight. 3, where he pushes him ages away and he gets locked under. Like they debilitate one of them so that they can single fight. And even in Phantom Menace, when it's Qui-Gon and Darth Maul are fighting and Obi-Wan's trapped behind ray shields, or Obi-Wan has just fallen off those like 20 stories of buildings and has to like find another way to get to him. Like there's ways around it. If you want your one-on-one fight, or if it's too hard to have a really long sequence, make the other person have something to do. Don't just make them stand off to the side or disappear. Like there's things you can do. What we didn't touch on was that after Soul stabs Anasea through the chest, Zabrak doesn't react immediately.
Yes.
She's just like stands there for a minute. Not like
we have to wait for her to like grab onto Soul and be like, come closer.
Yes, let me monologue at you.
She was gonna choose you instead of like,
I was gonna let her go.
I was gonna let her go.
Anastasia letting her go doesn't make any sense because in episode 3, everything we'd seen, again, recontextualization. But what they show in episode 3 is her saying, you're a child, you don't get to make decisions like that, which is the correct way to parent.
Correct.
Oh, is it a trans thing? Is it your child will know their identity and you have to let them do it?
Society, the rest of the coven, is going to say what's right for your child.
Yeah. Oh no, it's a trans allegory.
This could be deep.
That is what that feels like to me. You're right. The society, the Coven of Witches, wants to tell Mother Anastasia what to do with her own child. But instead, Anastasia does the right thing and lets her child choose what she wants to do, even though she's a child and shouldn't probably be making life-changing decisions like leaving the Coven.
And her mum and
her church.
Everything she's ever known.
The more I think about it, the more I am now convincing myself
when I'm thinking about like some of the writing that we've seen previously.
And the fact that everyone's an activist behind this
show.
show.
This could have a double meaning.
So there's a Brack woman doesn't go to Soul after the stab. You go, what the hell? And then stab Soul. They let them do the little secret whisper monologue, and then she goes, May, run. We didn't touch on the May and Osha drama. We've barely talked. This whole flashback is meant to recontextualize May and Osha, and we've barely talked about them in this whole thing.
It's Soul. Soul's the second main character of this show.
He's the choice. So basically, everyone thought that, it's going to be the Jedi burnt down the Witches' Coven. I guess they're the evil guys. No, May did it.
Yeah.
The stone really is flammable.
We see that the fire short circuits the door control, which short circuits another electrical
makes
panel.
More electrical fires.
Yeah.
That's not how electrical fires work. That's
she
not
held up those twin
works.
flames. Twin flames.
The power of two.
We should have seen definitely more of what molded May into being a...
I was thinking after everyone dies, when she wakes up by the Bunta tree. I wanted to see from then onwards.
Yeah.
Give me a whole episode of this child trying to make her way in the
galaxy. We sort of get an explanation of how she ended up at the Bunta tree.
Yes.
Unless they're just going to say like, she obviously
she turned into smoke.
She turned into smoke.
Yeah. You're right. She turned to smoke. Yeah, so then where does the Brack woman go, actually?
Soul fights her, and then she goes...
And then she turns to smoke. Yep, there's a Brackian turns to smoke. So all of the dead bodies we see in episode 3 that we're making fun of, why they all... How we're saying they played dead, they actually did. They all just fell asleep and died.
They all just slumped over. It was so interesting.
Which means Indara did kill all her family, but May wouldn't know that.
As far as May does know, the only bad stuff that happens is she saw her mum get stabbed.
By Soul.
And she doesn't even know that Soul chose Osha. She just thinks the bridge fell.
The only thing that she knows is that, yes, Soul killed her mum. The other 3 Jedi did nothing.
But she would probably assume, being a child, that if she saw them kill the mum, that they probably killed everyone else.
But wouldn't you go for Soul first? Or like work your way up to Soul if he's like the leader? It's like Kill Bill. You got to work your way up, which they based it on Kill Bill and Frozen. You have to work your way up the ranks. Like you have to kill this person and go, where's the next person? Which they say she does, but none of the people reveal where the next person is. Yes. So it's not like she's holding a thing to Indara.
Well, we don't know how she finds Indara.
Yeah. He's on the planet. And she's like, haha, I'm going to kill you anyway, bitch. It's literally, she kills this chick and then she finds out for some other reason where Kelnaka is, even though she knows where Soul is from episode 2, tries to kill him, but then just leaves, but then still knows where he is and never tries to kill him. Like that's the weirdest part because he's the only one she should really have beef with. But let's go through them. So Indara doesn't kill herself. She's not even in exile, really, is she? She's just on that planet having a drink.
At a bar somewhere.
So her conscience is seemingly clear despite killing all of those
witches. Because she's like twisted. She's corrupted. But lies to the council... or is easy to lie to the council. She's fine with it.
I guess she says, let's lie to them at the end of the episode. But it's to cover Soul's ass more than hers. Or like, I don't know. It's shaky at best. Torben kills himself because he had incel rage, went to take a kid, didn't take any kids, fought with his friend, got a scar on his face.
He's like the first, he feels guilty because he's the first domino. That he feels like if he never went, then it never would have happened. But even still, the whole place would have blown up.
All that May stuff happened, setting the building on fire, happened after they arrived. And if that fire got that big by the time May ran downstairs, the ladies were not stopping this.
It was happening like one-to-one with when they got there.
Yeah, they were not stopping that explosion. Kelnaka exiled himself. I understand Kelnaka's exile because
he fought his friends.
Yes, and he had his mind taken over by a bunch of witches. Like, that's going to mess with you. So he's like, I'm not going to let that happen again. I'm just going to go hang out on this planet and be a hermit. His is the one I can understand the most. I guess Soul's a dick, because Soul is probably the most...
He should have the most guilt. He should have Torbjorn's story.
Yes, but then you couldn't have Soul doing anything. So they couldn't give him the meditate for a million years story. We still don't know why Osha left the Order, and I feel like Soul wouldn't...
I failed my test.
Soul wouldn't let her leave the Order, surely, because...
Because of his, now what we see is like a controlling weird, he'll do anything to have her.
And also, why was Osha allowed to join the Jedi?
Because the metachlorian count. She had to at that point.
Oh, wait, I guess they found out about those separately. Yeah. Weird that the Jedi Council was like, I mean, pending results, no, but...
Yes.
Because like the reason they didn't even really accept Anakin. Obi-Wan was like, Qui-Gon literally died for this. I'm going to train him. And they're like, all right, fine, but only because we might think he's the chosen one. Whereas these guys, I guess, don't. Because Yoda's on that council that she spoke to.
Yeah.
So Yoda's like, fuck me, another dyad? We need to stop going to backwater planets. Like, we just keep finding forced dyads
blow them
on
up from space.
Palpatine was right. Death Star is the way to go.
The only real extra thing that you see afterwards is they're back on the ship and we interrupt your regularly scheduled programming for this quick news update. The man has now kidnapped one of those children and has it on his weird flying spaceship. Soul and Indara are kind of like just like grumpy at each other and are like, what are we going to say? We're going to say the truth.
And then it just ends with him saying, your sister burnt down everything. Sorry, kid.
Yeah.
And we don't see any of May, so we still don't know why she woke up at the Bunta tree or how she did her whole life, basically. And we still have no more answers on Khmer or where he came from.
Which would have been way more interesting. In terms of flashback episodes, it should have gone in rankings. Khmer flashback, May flashback, Soul flashback, I guess.
That's my main problem with this episode, is that we didn't really answer any of the important questions. We already knew the Jedi did something bad. It didn't really matter what they did, but now all we know is that they stabbed Anastasia and that they wanted to kidnap the kid. So if anything, we like Soul less now, but...
Because it's a bit creepy.
Yeah, not because of the choice he made where he chose to sacrifice one kid to save the other. He's not Will Smith and iRobot. He's creepy. Yeah, we just don't like him now because he's a creepy man.
In the last episodes where they've showed both characters, they've made Soul seem worse and they've made Khmer seem better.
I think they've made Khmer seem better.
I think they think they've made Khmer seem better.
What they want...
Just with how they're making him act and like the lines they're giving him.
The morality swap was always going to happen. Like even from episode 1, everyone's like, okay, the Jedi are going to be bad and Darth Milo is going to be the good guy from a certain point of view. But I don't think they succeeded because he just spouted pseudo bullshit. So yes, that's what they want to do, but they didn't actually do that. But how do you rate the episode overall? Like,
should have been a better flashback. 2 out of 10. It gets a point for cool lightsaber Wookiee fight and a point for credit music.
I think it was completely stupid. I don't think we should have episode 3. Episode 3 only exists to create a dumb mystery, because I don't think this episode answered any of those questions enough that this couldn't have been 3.
Episode 3 should have just been 1.5 times the length that it is right now and should have just shown a bit of everything all together.
But then they wouldn't have a show because we wouldn't have the mystery.
But we didn't get any mysteries.
That's the thing. Yeah, they didn't answer any real questions. So I kind of have the exact same amount of questions about like who Smilo is and who May is. So they could have had that be the engaging thing from episode 3, but instead we've been asking, what was the bad thing the Jedi did? Like there was no gray area there. Like we knew what was going to happen. We just didn't know the specifics. So it was just kind of a boring series of questions. But then we get the best part of the episode, the pop music credit song.
Regular normal music.
But worse than that because it relates CW. It relates to the show.
Yes, it's like a song purposely written for this.
Show. And the lyrics are it's called The Power of Two for one, and then it's singing about twin flames, and if I get called your name, that upsets me, and that's what happens in this. And it kind of epitomizes how CW crap this is, because in the CW, if a character is sad because their wife left them, you have to have a song saying, since my wife left me, I've been so sad, but with pop music because it's better. And then that's just what the ending is. It's so bad. If it played during the episode, I would have flipped the tablet. Like, that would have been abysmal. but the credits is almost just
It's
as
just
bad.
weird. It's so not Star Wars.
It just shows what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's exactly not Star Wars.
They were like, let's have someone write a song for this episode. Oh, like John Williams or something? No.
Find me a woman.
Find me the 2024 Kids Teen Choice Award New Emerging Artist of the Year. At least next episode's going to look better in comparison to this.
No, because I think next episode's going to end on a cliffhanger and they're going to rely on season 2. I don't think we're getting any answers. Considering how little this gave us in 44 minutes, there's no way the next one is much longer and gives much more.
Let us know which flashback episode was better.
It's finally over. We can rest. Is it better or worse than Ahsoka? Because we ragged on Ahsoka for like 8 episodes straight.
Worse.
I agree.
I just think that Ahsoka was like a dumpling filled with poopy. At least it was filled.
Yes, there is very little going on here. I started rewatching the whole season this afternoon.
How did that go?
I watched 2 episodes and I'm like, I actually don't need to watch anymore because episode 3 is the flashback. Episode 4, they go for a walk. Episode 5 is just a fight scene. Episode 6, they sit on an island for 20 minutes. Episode 7 is another flashback showing us almost exactly the same thing. And what I realized in doing that, May and Osha that they set up in episodes 1 and 2, they don't change at all between the beginning and the finale.
Okay.
Except the fact that, oh, Osha's evil now.
Spoilers,
but
by the
that
way.
happens in this episode.
You could sense it coming in episode 6.
Oh, for sure.
In the last episode.
in episode 1, you're like, it's Parent Trap. The twins are going to switch.
Exactly, yeah. Where else could they have gone with this?
They just chose the most obvious thing at every single turn. Like, they didn't do anything interesting with it. In the press tours and stuff, like, Yord and Jackie were there for most of it. And they probably had, like, 20 minutes of screen time tops each.
They're still using them to, like, an hour to go until the finale and
they're
stuff.
like the hashtag Yord Horde. And it's like, what Yord Horde?
Stop. There's no Yord Horde.
No Yord Hordes.
People are saying this is the best Star Wars TV show ever.
But we've also seen people say that this is the worst Star Wars TV show
I know,
ever.
but I want to know where you rank it in the ones in the Star Wars TV shows, just the live action ones.
I'd say, yeah, it's the worst because I was the least interested.
So you're saying it's better than The Mandalorian season 3?
Actually, I think I might hate Obi-Wan more because Obi-Wan ruined Obi-Wan.
Okay, yeah.
And like Obi-Wan's my boy.
At least this didn't like kill beloved characters. This made characters and then they were hateable from the start.
Oh no, it changed Ki-Adi-Mundi's birthday. I don't care. But it does have something that's almost dumber in this episode. Do you know the whole born too early to do this, born too late to do this? That's what this show is, but it's like it's born too early to use Ki-Adi-Mundi, born too late to use certain cameos, basically. Because in this episode, we get a lovely little cameo of Darth Plagueis.
You mean Man in Cave?
Who is lurking in a cave. I guess he could be a random third person, but then why would they show that?
I think it's going to be like they're just using that. We never said who he was, and then Leslie Headland's going to go to Disney and be like, can we please use him? And then if they say yes, they'll be like, yep, that was him. But if they don't, they're going to go, no, that's just that's Kumir's new master.
That was just some random guy hiding on an island.
That was a Force ghost.
It's not just that he's spying on Osha and Kumir having like baths together in the lake.
Yep.
It's that he got the idea for the evil Force twins to create Anakin. Like he's using them as like the blueprint. Like he sees 2 evil twins and he's like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to try to make my own evil twin.
But he perfected it.
He didn't. It failed. That's why Anakin was born.
Oh.
Yeah. So he wasn't as good as lesbian Force
Does that
witches.
mean Anakin might have a twin out there somewhere?
I hope so.
hope
That'll
so.
be the next story.
Anakin. So let's go through the story.
We just start straight up where she wakes up with the helmet on. Not wakes up, but it shows that she's evil. And Kumir comes over and he's like, oh, she's so evil.
But it's like she uses her space witch powers.
Yeah.
That was kind of cool.
Does
like
she?
his eyes go black and he gets teleported to like maybe like the spirit realm version of where he is right now. So it's like I think they're gonna make May like a bit of a combination.
So she's half
Witch
wizard,
Sith.
half witch.
Yeah, because like his eyes go fully black.
They don't ever touch on this episode that Kymir knew about the witches in any like real way. So the fact he says, what are you after, the power of 2, was just completely like a coincidence.
Osha has a vision of May killing Sol without a weapon.
She just says she killed Sol. She had a lightsaber, but she didn't use it. And then it zooms in on Kymir and he's like,
The
you
prophecy.
killed her without a weapon?
And then they're like, let's race to find her, but let's go in the same ship and also be friends.
Yes. So even last episode, basically the whole time, Osha was like, oh, you're evil. Like you killed my best friend, Jackie, basically, and Yord, who I've known since I was a wee little lass. But now I'm not going to kill you because I saw you naked one time.
Sexy.
And then it's not even like, oh, I've got to go save my friends. I'm going to leave you here because you're the bad guy. She's like, okay, I guess you can come with me and we'll have a little race. Whoever can get to my sister first gets to corrupt her.
Yeah.
I'll turn her good, you'll turn her evil. And turns out, no, you'll both turn her evil, I guess.
This story's gross. I don't like that.
It's just nonsensical. And like people keep fast traveling when they need to, or they stall when they don't need to. Like in the time it takes Osha to have her whole little adventure. And remember, he says,
I'd start swimming if you want to make it to the ship before sundown, or you could wait for the tide to go out.
Which means that planet's had like a couple of hours. And in that couple of hours, Sol has tied May to a chair and done nothing. And like told her half a story before getting electrocuted. Because people keep arresting these twins with their pip droid, with like the Escapatron 3000 on their belt.
It's like locking Luke in a room with R2.
Literally, it's like a full-size droid. They're like, it'll be fine.
Yeah.
Don't worry. There's like a port sitting next to R2 and he's like, don't worry about it. Or like you go to Houdini and you're like, all right, Houdini, stay in this cage. By the way, here's a hacksaw. Like, what the fuck?
I mean, not that he needed his magic.
It's just because the writers are fucking morons, I can only assume. They need her to get out of these handcuffs, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, they need her to be in the handcuffs so she doesn't attack. And for a second, I was thinking, oh, she's going to escape, but then let him confess everything. But instead, for I think the 4th or 5th time, Sol is about to say what really happened. And then she's like, taser, bitch. Because Pip is
and
also a taser.
they do it again at the end, but in the end, he gets to finish his sentence.
She baits it out of him because she's standing right behind me, isn't she?
And then she elaborately escapes using her little Pip droid, her best friend, Pip.
Yeah, Pip is suddenly May's best friend because still has red eyes.
Because he's
still is evil. But she knows exactly how to use the Pip droid. And in the following scenes, she's even like, look out, Pip. Pip, we're going through an asteroid. Pip, hold on tight. Like, did Amanda Stenberg forget?
Yeah, did she forget which character she was for a second?
Technically, she is playing the same character, split into 2.
Oh my god.
I don't even know if we touched on that revelation last week, but the fact that they're one person split into 2 doesn't matter.
Not at all.
It comes up 2 or 3 times in this episode as like the big reveal for the twins. Like if I told you that we were actually the same person, it's like, that doesn't matter. We've lived entirely separate lives. Like we can't stick back together.
But something about that somehow like forges an even stronger relationship between them.
It makes them besties again.
I don't really get, and I'm so sorry we're jumping all over the place, but I don't really get how at the end it's like, come with me, I'll show you the way out. And I'm like, what the just happened? All that happened was that they found out the truth about what happened on Brendok, which May always knew. But it's like, Osha's like, oh my god, I should have believed you the whole time.
They hug and May says, I'm sorry I started the fire. So like May admits and says sorry for burning down the entire coven, killing all their family. Because we don't technically know whether Master Indara knocked all the witches out or she killed them.
Also, May doesn't know that either.
That is also true. She was not there. But if Indara did kill them, then fair enough. Indara did kill them all. She didn't seem to care though. But if she just knocked them out, the resulting fire and explosions is what killed them. If May didn't start a fire, they would have all woken up and been like, man, that was crazy. Oh shit, they stole our kids. Dang, we should go like report them to the Senate and be like, hey Senate.
Or just make 2 new space children.
God, you fucking could. You could rock up to the Senate and be like, hey, so the Jedi stole my 2 daughters. Can I have them back? Social services. Naughty, naughty.
Here's all this video footage because we're in a facility in the future.
And that facility always has power. Don't you worry.
It's a hydroelectric dam or something.
After multiple explosions bursting into flames and 16 years passing,
it's because the Virgins.
It has power. It doesn't just grow the planet, it also provides electricity.
Correct. The Force.
Stupid.
It's the threads.
They could have just climbed over the hill, or like the door could have blown open.
The door could have just been fallen off, yeah.
But the reason that the door isn't blown open is so that while Osha is slicing the platform,
they've sliced the platform.
Chimera just disappears again.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh shit, he turned into smoke. He is a witch. No, we're pretty sure he just did the whole like character looks away for a second, other character vanishes.
Yeah.
Because Osha then does it to May in like 10 minutes time.
And then Kumir does it again at the end.
Yes.
And he does it twice. He does it 3 times
Everyone
in the episode.
just teleports.
So May runs to an escape ship, not an escape pod. So a micro ship.
She even says as she jumps in, she's like, I'm going to use the escape ship, which makes me almost feel like it was an escape pod originally, because it's got the big circle door, but then they realized the episode was too short and too boring, so they're like, fuck, we need a space chase.
Quick, it's Star Wars. Make it through an asteroid field as well.
Yes, make there be an asteroid field immediately right there. And these ships move quick because they go from the asteroid field to the planet. And that asteroid field, I'm pretty sure, is around the moon, the logo moon. So they crashed from the asteroid belt down onto the planet.
Yeah.
Again, time and space mean fucking
I
nothing
don't see
in
the
this
problem
show.
with this.
She says this ship doesn't have hyperdrive, or I wish this ship had hyperdrive. So she can't go anywhere. Sol has a hyperdrive and a bigger ship that could obviously outrun this tiny ship. And instead of just like following her and being like, May, come on, I need to talk to you. Like, come back. He decides to crash his ship into an asteroid belt after she says, very audible, so that we the stupid audience know.
Correct.
He's too big to follow us in here. No, apparently he's just gonna go through there. Each of those little meteors would be like bullets.
And then they're also flying through it at the same time.
And he just like crashes through it. But then they both get fucked up. But the reason they crash, he was about to catch her somehow. They don't explain that. He's just like nudging her. Like he's like, just the tip.
He's locking onto her. He's about to shoot her out of the sky.
Would he shoot her? Why would he? I guess just disable her? Situationally disable her?
She just die though in the cold vastness of space.
Hey, that'd be better than what we got. But the reason that they crash, Darth Basil.
For some reason,
he turns evil.
Basil's like, he can't even see firstly because he's smaller than the console.
And Sol's in the way.
He uses the Force to sense that May is in trouble. His ally, who he was like running away from in the last episode,
and he was like beating the shit out of her. Yeah, like stomped her.
He's like, no, and like pulls out like the targeting computer or whatever.
He pulls out random cable next to entrance to cockpit, and that screws
Exposed
the whole
cable.
ship. Yes, he doesn't pop a panel off or anything. He just like reaches into this thing, pulls a cable, and the whole ship is like.
Also, I know it's a Star Wars trope, but why does the targeting computer take so long? She's the only target in front of him, and it's like not like it's like, oh, other things get in the way. There's only a picture of the spaceship in front, and it's like beep boop beep boop beep boop beep. What a trope. You don't really need a targeting computer to hit that subscribe button. But then they crash down onto the planet. May crashes further down, and Sol's like, I'm not just gonna land exactly where she is, or like just fly over and be like, May.
Especially because they prove that ships can float. Oh, isn't that the exact same ship that they use in episode 2 that Jackie turns into the police helicopter, and she's like, in the name of the Galactic Senate, I order you to stop resisting. So yeah, Sol could have
Sol
just
doesn't
been
know
like,
how to use that function, the VTOL function.
No one knows how to use fucking ships, and it drives me crazy.
Except for Basil.
Remember in Ahsoka how the World War II style spaceships that could easily hover in space and shoot Ahsoka were like doing bombing runs? No. You do that when you're going to get shot out of the sky. That ship was disabled. Anyway, enough about that terrible show.
So Sol does the thing I've been asking him to do the entire show, proving that he could have done it the entire show. He uses his Force abilities as a Jedi to find May.
Even though he's standing next to the tracker Basil.
And even though she hasn't been shown to be like massively like this big Force beacon, she's used a little bit of Force pushy.
She used the Force fart to shoot sand. That is the max of her skills.
But he uses his Force to find her on the planet. Or I don't know, people are going to say like, it's because he used he tapped into the Virgins, people are going to say.
Everyone's extra powerful. It's because he had a connection with Osha, which counts for May.
Correct.
Except it didn't.
But what's happening on your favorite planet with a title card while this is happening?
A different shot, which is funny.
Different shot, we get the big
the temple's
building
in the background, and they're like, yeah, look at this other building. It's still
like, people aren't going to know.
It's always daytime in this Coruscant.
Yeah. Where's my party Coruscant?
Coruscant in the prequels is like nighttime. Fucking sick, dude.
Death sticks.
Never death sticks. We got Twi'lek hookers. Whereas this is like,
shake it, baby.
Oh, it's just midday. It's just midday on Coruscant. Cloudy ass Coruscant. There's no cars.
Because like good
There's
guys,
like one car.
good guys only like operate during the day.
Yeah. Whereas Anakin specifically only burnt down the temple at night.
So we go back to Coruscant where the twink Jedi goes to Venestra.
I don't give a shit what you look like. You can look like a giant twink. But if you're a Jedi master, you got to be at least somewhat badass or like good at your emotions, right?
Yeah.
Whereas this kid's like, oh god, he's so pathetic.
Master Venestra. They're back on Coruscant, even though they were
just on Kofar. And in the time it took them to go from Coruscant to Kofar to be too late to see the battle, to then go back to Coruscant and like go back to work, I guess. Sol has had one conversation with May, and Osha has had a bath with a Sith Lord.
A sexy Sith Lord.
A sexy Sith Lord.
So they're like, oh, Sol's translocator beacon is back on. Oh, what should we do? And she's like, gather up as many Jedi Knights as you can, that without arousing suspicion, and we're gonna go get him. And then he's like, okay.
Because they, I guess, still think, or at least are very okay with Sol being the bad guy. Because last time they were like, oh, a bunch of dead Jedi. It must have been the only one we can't find.
And I'm going to add this in here because it's the same lady in the same place at the same time. She goes to a meeting with one of the senators.
Who is Martian Manhunter from the CW Supergirl show. Which just makes this show feel more like the CW.
That means
if
he's
you're going to be
important.
getting CW actors in.
So yeah, he's like, you didn't think that you could tell us about a murder? And she's like, murders? And he's like, murders? And she's like, don't worry, I'm this close to getting the guy.
It's the exact opposite of the Cornetto scene in Hot Fuzz. How she's like, have you caught the murderers yet? And he's like, it's just the one murderer, actually.
Yeah. But this just does the thing that the show's been trying to ram down our throats the entire time.
But somehow less subtle.
Here's another character shitting on the Jedi. It's like, I get it, show. You want the Jedis to be the bad guys, or you want to just shed light on the Jedi weren't always good. There's like shady gray area.
He also makes an incredibly moronic point. He says, how would we ever stop a rogue Jedi?
What happens when one of you loses control of your emotions?
Yes.
That's what it is. You're trying to control something that can't be controlled. Your emotions. But also, it's like they're using the Suicide Squad Superman analogy of what happens if one day Superman rips the roof off the White House and kills the president. That analogy doesn't happen because there's a whole other race of Supermen that would stop him.
Which you can say, oh, that's not true because Palpatine worked, I guess. I think that's what they're referencing. The fact that Anakin was one rogue Jedi that somehow took down everyone. Except he wasn't a rogue Jedi. He was a Sith Lord working behind the scenes, as well as like a million clones, as well as an intergalactic war that had split up the Jedi. The reason Anakin can take over the Jedi Temple is because there's no one there. There's like younglings and traineeships because all the masters are off lightsabering bad guys.
Palpatine wasn't a rogue Jedi. He was doing things through politics.
Yes. So like he's one of you. He's a senator.
Yeah.
So how do we stop one rogue senator?
Correct.
We can't.
Exactly, but we don't talk about politics.
We talk
about the
politics
Jedi
on
being
this
bad.
show.
But then there's an interesting little plot point. I don't know when this was mixed in. It was somewhere between these three scenes while she's on Coruscant. She's on a little hollow walkie-talkie, and she's like, I'm sorry, Master. Something's come up.
You talk about who I think is Palpatine?
Yes.
Actually, no, it can't be Palpatine because he would be not even born.
Correct.
It just sounded like someone. Okay, we're going to have to find out who that is then. Because, the voice sounded like Palpatine.
Another mystery?
But I know they fucked up Ki-Adi-Mundi's age. But if you fuck up, like, the Emperor, who was alive when Luke... like, he's old, yes. And I think he's technically from Naboo. He would die like a human. So yeah, I have no idea who the fuck that is.
Obviously, Darth Plagueis gave him eternal immortal life. And they've been two Sith in the background controlling everything forever.
He was slurping up Anakin's youth.
Anyway, everyone arrives within a few moments.
Yes, even though everyone had done everything completely differently. It's literally May and Sol land, and then by the time they get inside...
Everyone's running around the lesbian space dam being like who's gonna find who first?
It's like the...
And then it just so happens
no, it's Scooby-Doo. It's they open, and they're like... Oh,
like once someone runs in the door, other person runs out. But luckily... May finds Osha.
Osha and May I can semi-forgive because they're the same person, so they're like drawn to the same place. But yeah, Sol turns a corner in this labyrinth and Chimea's like, g'day mate.
I thought I'd find you here.
They have enough time for a 5-minute duel, and then Vernesta rocks up, even though she was only told about it when they landed on Brendok, because like Sol landed, before Sol left the ship was like... and left Darth Basil there. Why he didn't punch the shit out of Basil?
Correct.
Like, if I'm in a cop chase and I'm chasing down a suspect and then my partner just pulls the handbrake, I'm not going to just, like, get out of the crashed vehicle.
Dude, I'm a space cop. You're under space arrest.
I'm going to do something about that. But Basil is just back to being good again.
It's because Sol is using his emotions.
And Basil hates emotions.
Basil's actually a true Jedi. Master Basil.
No, Darth Basil.
Darth Basil.
When Vernesta's ship is about to land, everyone's able to look up through like a chasm in the ceiling. Like every room has a moon window.
But it's a big hole instead of a piece of glass.
So that they can see ominous ships passing overhead.
We'll get the double fight scene. Let's not gloss over that. People are going to say
people are saying it's the best fight scene.
The best fight scene.
Since the last time it was the best fight scene.
Correct.
Which was the last time.
Which makes it the best TV show ever.
It does.
I just saw a thing that said, well, Acolyte haters, you can't join us fans now. We're over here having too much fun.
You do that way too well. And then episode 7 came out and they're like, Wookiee lightsaber, this is the best lightsaber fight ever. And then this one came out and everyone's like, this is the best lightsaber fight ever. They're moderately adequate at most. Like they're flashy. This one I think would get some extra points because they swap styles a few times. It is funny that Chimere's like, haha, joke's on you, I have 2 lightsabers now. Doesn't use his second lightsaber in the fight at all.
Yeah.
He's like fighting with this one, and then you just see this one waving behind him the whole time. But then he does a cool thing where he throws them both. So it's like, it has a couple of cool moments where it's like, yeah, I'm just going to swap styles.
He was worse at two-handing. He was doing better one-handed.
Yeah, that's when he puts it back away. He's like, all right, I admit I'm pretty shit at this. I don't get to fight Jedi very often. And then it also just shows how bad every other Jedi is that was on that team, that they all got slaughtered, but Sol is like holding his own easily.
Yeah.
Like, I know there's a master would be different than a master, but like, fuck me, they are shit.
Yeah. You think that at least if there's 4 of them on one him, that they'd be able to do good, but he just literally impales one and then pulls the other into the one.
The reason Palpatine gets away with it in my eyes is because it was like, it's poorly shot, but it was a surprise attack. Like, they're like, you're under arrest, Senate, and he's like, zzz, zzz, zzz. Like, if someone came at me with a 720 flip, fuck that.
I'm just so I was a bit just like, not confused, but interested how Osha was keeping up with May in hand-to-hand combat when it's, I guess, assumed that May was training in hand-to-hand combat to fight Jedi, and you've never seen a Jedi train in hand-to-hand combat, so how does Osha know? Also, she's been a mech neck for the last few years.
The only Jedi we see use hand-to-hand combat are Sol and Indara. When did they stop teaching Kung Fu at the Jedi Temple, you
Just
reckon?
after this.
Just after? Because like,
they realize it's too
Osha
powerful.
obviously knows it.
Well, I think what they're going to
Osha
say...
suck it in from...
That's what they're going to say. Because they were both one in the same, it's like when one gets stronger, the other one is also through osmosis, like getting stronger.
And she gets her force powers back.
It's Neo. It's, I know Kung Fu.
She says, I haven't trained in 6 years. I don't know the force anymore. And Chimere's like, yeah, you do, babes. It's a bike. You be riding that.
You put that helmet on.
You put that bike helmet on, you'll be back on that horse. Mixed metaphors.
Analogies. Space analogies. Like riding a Womp Rat back on Womp Rat.
Ooh, baby, like shooting a Womp Rat in my T14. T16. The T14 is the hyperdrive.
The big confrontation outside.
Chimere loses the fight.
Correct.
Yes, he gets his lightsaber cut in half, so he no longer has a lightsaber. Even, I guess the bottom one broke
Maybe.
too. That means he has 2 kyber crystals.
He's badass. He's badass. So he gets his lightsaber cut up and Sol's just like pointing the lightsaber at him. Is he going to kill someone who's unarmed?
Is he going to be able to sense his environment?
No, he isn't, because May literally just sneaks up on him, steals his lightsaber, but chooses not to use it. She throws it away and breaks it?
And it cracks it open. So it's not broken in any means. It's cracked enough for a nice shot.
I'm really annoyed that Dan called it, and he's like, I bet Osha's going to pick that up. It's not going to be broken, and it's going to turn red. And I said, Daniel, that's way too far-fetched of an idea. Why would they ever do that?
It literally just from the fact that it cracked, and they zoomed so far into that kyber
They
crystal.
would never. They think about it now. They'd never show that much detail of it being broken.
They've never shown a kyber crystal properly, and this time they're like, yeah. Also,
look how nice and blue that is.
There is a thing in lore that you touch the kyber crystal to bleed it, and you like pour your emotions into it, and that's how you make it like evil.
Yeah, it's like it's exposed at the top.
It's poking out, so enough for her to touch it, but I guess not enough that it gets hot when the lightsaber is formed. Like, her hand is on that thing. You're supposed to not have that in the lightsaber. Corrupt it. Put that thing back in the lightsaber. It's like a gun if your finger's on the bullet and you're like, bang, bang, bang.
But yeah, it's like her hand should be incinerated. She bleeds and corrupts this lightsaber crystal while she's killing Sol.
She's epic force user, doesn't even have to use her body really to force choke people. She's just like mind force
Force
choking.
can't interrupt force. Like, I know Sol like is feeling guilty and he's like, this is my repentance. This needs to happen. Like, but he can't, 1, push her away. 2, block her force with his force. 3, ask her not to, plead not to. Sol feels like the kind of guy who would want to repent through acts and through like being like, I can train you, we can go back to the way it was.
I mean, if Torben's willing to commit suicide over an attempted kidnapping, because like Torben did nothing.
Justice for Torben.
Torben was a weird incel and being like, I need to kidnap these kids. But then he got there, got attacked by his best friend, had a fight with his best friend.
Was just defending himself while he was being attacked.
And then decided, oh, we did the worst thing imaginable. I'm going to seppuku myself. But I'm going to become a master, and then I'm going to sleep for 10 years, and then I'm going to
even though this whole thing should be eating me inside and I have no control of my emotions, control my emotions enough to become master. But anyway.
That was last week.
But anyway. Anyone could be a master back in the day.
Hey, if Sir Twinksalot can become a master.
So Osha finds out, force chokes Soul. I told you to stop speaking.
Yeah, we said the way she found out earlier, where it's like May finally gets Soul to say it, but instead of Soul saying it in a normal way, where he's tried to explain himself multiple times, he just says, "Yes, I killed your mum."
Yeah.
And then Osha's like, there is no excuse for this.
She was turning into black smoke and sucking you up with her.
He does let out the excuse, I was trying to save you. But like, what the fuck does that mean, my man? Also, when he does say yes that he killed his mum, he like whispers it.
Yeah.
Like 30 meters away.
And he's in
Osha's
a very heavy Korean accent.
Space Korean.
So he's like, do it. Kill me. And then she literally just does.
Oh.
She closes her little hand and he just dies.
So Soul's whole story is over?
Yep.
So the only character anybody liked is dead now?
Yep.
Oh. Oh.
Congratulations. We now have 3 main characters.
We have evil girl that got lobotomized.
Yep.
We have good girl that turned evil.
Yep.
And we have evil guy that's killed multiple people.
Oh, and Green Lady.
And Green Lady.
And
but
Green
she's
Lady.
the antagonist. She's the real villain.
Or is she the real hero?
No.
Okay.
Quick thing on Leslie Headland's wife, Lady Greenbean. All she knows about the Jedi is that they open doors with their hands. They go like this and
She
a
does
door
it
opens.
3 times this episode. She opens the door for someone as well.
She does it in episode 1, walking through the Jedi temple that would have automatic doors. But instead she does this every door she goes through. I think if you go back, every time she goes through a door, it's always this. Because that's all she knows about the Jedi. Or she thought that was cool. Like, I think it's fucking cool. Whenever I go through a door, I do that.
Yeah.
Maybe she is us.
She's just us.
She's like,
When we finally
she's
get
every
it.
10-year-old boy that finds an automatic door and pretends they're Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Correct.
So, we do get the only answer that I stand by that we got is how May survived her fall down a shaft. She did exactly what Luke did in episode 5. She got sucked into a vent that was at the bottom of a mine shaft.
But how? Luke slid down the wall.
Yeah.
They had to climb down a wall to go into it.
She was falling and then went...
But I know that they're like, oh, say you got sucked in.
It's got good suck.
If something sucks you that hard that it can stop you at terminal velocity or at free fall, and not just stop you and suck you in, there's no more downforce. It's all suck force.
And it launches her out, I guess, because she
Hits
survives.
the Bunta tree.
And she ends up near the Bunta tree.
Oh, the force. The thread.
The thread. Like, we came up with a better idea as a joke where she just turned into smoke.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
was
the first
falling
time she used her powers.
And she's a Zabrak. Because the Zabrak is still out there somewhere.
We haven't seen, there is no confirmed body. Season 2 Zabrak.
If I don't see a body, they ain't dead.
Where are the emails, Hillary? I mean, Zabrak. Well, just after Quimir vanishes, because he senses his former master.
Vanesta, when she lands, because Kymir took his helmet off, because you need to see the pretty face. You need to give the lady something to love. So he takes off his helmet. Vernestra lands, and then her ears prick up, and she goes, oh my goodness gracious me. Yeah, does she say?
And then he's also like...
Because we were thinking maybe the whip was just like the laziest misdirect in history, but no, the whip was that obvious. We're meant to make that very obvious connection. If he was Vanesta's apprentice at some point, Padawan, Soul didn't recognize him. Greenbean can't be that old, probably. She's an alien, I guess.
Well, at least Quimir isn't that old.
Yes, Kymir isn't that old. I think the actor's like 35, and he's very obviously a human, and a human in Star Wars. Like, there's not really... I don't think there's any, like, human likes that just live fucking Ava.
The throwback line of, it's you, is Soul talking about back at the Jedi Temple on Coruscant 15 years ago?
I didn't recognize you without your wet hair.
Or is he talking, and your big penis?
How does it feel?
Or is he talking about back in the apothecary shop?
He's talking about the apothecary shop. They're both talking about the apothecary shop. And it's even dumber when Osha is walking on the beach with him in episode 6. And he's like, I was a Jedi once. And she's like, I've never heard of you. It's like, bitch, do you know every Jedi?
Yeah, very true. Yeah, you know the Jedi? Name all of them. Cal Kestis?
Yoda. Oh, God. So Greenbean uses her magical powers. She has the Cal Kestis power from the video game of she can sense what happened. I don't know whether it's been used to this extreme, but she can sense 16 years ago, the last traumatic event that happened here.
She's hearing Kalnaka and
I know why, though.
and
It's a virgins.
it's a virgin.
Oh.
The Force is very strong here.
Because she senses her young apprentice, once they get inside and they see dead Soul, and they're like, oh, something bad happened. He must have shot himself in the back of the head 6 times. Good idea, Hillary. What they decide to do is she sends everyone else away. She's like, you two search the building. everyone else make a 5-click perimeter.
Which they all go together. They don't make a perimeter, they all go together.
I didn't even think of that. Yeah.
And then they use Basil outside.
Darth Basil. They get Osha's backpack or something and get Basil to smell it. And then Basil's like, oh yeah, I'm the good guy. And then they run all the way and then they catch up with Osha and May.
Besties, by the way.
Yes, they've become besties ever since she forgave her for starting a fire and killing her whole family. Couldn't forgive Sol for stabbing the mum though, even though the mum provoked her. Like, where does it end? Sisterly love, am I right? Although they're not sisters, they're the same person. And that changed everything, somehow. Before the group of Jedi meant to be making a perimeter can use Darth Basil to hunt down these 2 young ladies, Kymir somehow catches up with them, even though he left later.
Space teleport.
Because he was busy staring at Venesta in the distance, in the dark, and she goes to look at him and he's gone because everyone can teleport in this goddamn show. And then Kymir gets to Osha and May first, and Osha and May are like, oh my god, I love you so much, babe. But we're both evil now. And then Kymir's like, I can only train one of you, or you come with me if you want to live.
Yeah, live with me if you want to come.
And then Osha's like, I will only go if you let my sister free.
She's like, let her go and I'll be your apprentice.
Why don't they both go? She has force powers and could probably beat the shit out of him. Or they could just wait 10 seconds and the Jedi would rock up. And they even say, oh, we'll just tell them what really happened. And he's like, you still trust the Jedi after all this? And it's like, yeah. Why wouldn't she? She thinks Sol screwed her over. She doesn't think everyone else that she grew up with.
And now we have evidence of what happened here.
Yes, we have you. We have the main bad guy.
Yeah.
We have the person that killed Sol, which would have completely fucked up Vernesta's plan, mind you. Because later on, she comes up with a whole conspiracy bullshit that we'll get to.
They're repeating history again of the Jedi just making up stories to suit themselves,
you know? Oh my god. Is this show trying to say something? It's funny that both of those things happen in the same show. So they're like, yeah, we're really trying to say something. When it's like, no, you've just decided to do something completely...
We're really trying to say something
different. Stop, he's already dead. Yes, it would screw up Vanessa's whole plan if they caught Kymir. So if all of those people she sent off caught any of these people, if they caught Osha, May, or Kymir and got them to talk using their mind force powers, then her whole story would have fallen apart. We would have found out that Kymir was her apprentice. She would have probably gone to prison. I don't know. Anyway.
But they did catch May. Why didn't she tell them everything?
So do you remember in episode 2 where Kymir says, whoa, 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 don't mind wipe me or any of whatever that Jedi stuff you do is? No, they can mind wipe people now.
Well, he's like, I can try and erase her memory.
Maybe.
But only until she was about 8 or so.
He leaves her with trauma. It's so good.
She's like, the last thing I remember is everybody I love dying, but not my sister?
I don't remember my sister, but I definitely remember my mum.
He selectively
and my friends
removes
burning
everything.
alive. She doesn't have to remember that stuff. Like, they're already lobotomizing her, basically.
Yeah.
Why not just make her go, huh? Or why not make her think she's Osha? Or like do something more interesting than just... She remembers nothing except her trauma.
Yeah, why? Just honestly, set her back to 0. Factory reset.
Yeah, she could just be like, huh? What are you?
Yeah.
That's why he had to only reset her to 8, so that she could still talk properly.
Correct.
And why didn't she just go, can I have a spice cream?
She's going to be really surprised when she gets a period.
What the hell? Can I have a spice cream, please?
I want to eat some of the spice creams.
Mind wipes her. Osha's like, born as 2, but we are...
She just like starts drooling. She's become like an invalid.
She's completely lobotomized her.
He's like, I've never done this before.
He couldn't actually just like wipe her mind. He's just scraping away her brain cells.
He just like crushed her frontal lobe.
What is the Force if you can like...
It's a thread that you can pull.
They're going off the back of the Jedi mind trick, but they've taken that from just like... from suggestion. It was even a bit far-fetched when Mary Sue Ray decided like after one day, she was like, you will take off these cuffs and leave the room. Whereas this guy's just like, I can just scrape your little brain. So that's what he did. He probably just like...
I like that.
There's also no reason why it needs to be May over Osha, unless Osha was always the evil
passed
twin.
The test. She killed a Jedi without using a weapon.
The Force is a weapon. If I kill you with my fist...
It's like saying guns don't kill people, people kill people.
Yeah, bullets kill people.
It's the bullet, technically.
I didn't kill anyone. The gun killed him.
It's reversed. No. It's Con Air. Nicolas Cage goes to jail because he's been in the armed forces. His fists are technically registered weapons. So,
is this real?
Yes.
I don't remember that at all.
Yes.
Fuck yeah.
But no, and then we split the story into 2 again. So we get to land back on the beautiful beaches of...
I was going to say, what story? They literally
Mugu
just
country.
stand on a beach and then they hold hands.
They hold hands off with the weird lightsaber. It's obviously going to be her weapon from now on.
No, it's their weapon.
It's their weapon.
The power of two.
Where's Plagueis, by the way?
He's still in that little
He's
cave.
still in the cave. He's eating leftover soup.
He has no ship.
He's still on the planet.
It's an island, and there's no other ship on that island.
How many caves are there on that island? They would have seen him. She would have sensed him, maybe.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Evil Force user.
No, it's the perfect setup to season 2. Aren't you reading Instagram and Twitter?
Would you be like, oh, that's my roommate, sorry.
And then we have enemy turned good guy, where May is now... I guess the implication is that the Jedi are going to use her to try and track down Quimmer.
Well, Venestra is. Yeah, because she goes to the Senate. All right, listen up, Senate. So basically, I know that one guy over there was saying, hey, wouldn't it be bad if one Jedi turned evil? Well, it happened. It's only one, though. It wasn't anyone I trained. It wasn't my old apprentice. It was Sol, the guy that was really cool.
The guy who's never done anything wrong, who's literally a moral, picture-perfect citizen of the Jedi Order.
Everyone in the entire thing will vouch for. But
how did he kill himself? Lightsaber-related accident.
Shot himself in the back of the head 8 times. He force-choked himself to death.
Well, he must have been a rookie with the Force, right? No, he was a master.
Why was he on that planet alone? Why did he go back to Brendok and kill himself?
Nothing.
What are all those tracks?
Absolutely nothing.
What about Darth? Why was May there?
It's called a Virgins. You don't understand it.
Basically, no one asked any questions.
No, you don't understand. This is setting up the perfect loose threads that we need for season 2.
They didn't answer. I stand by they didn't answer any questions. The only reason they're doing this cover-up is so that they can do all these shenanigans in this story and still have Ki-Adi-Mundi not know that there are any Sith, or still have no one know that there's any Sith. Like, this must surely be the only time in the last ages that a bunch of people were murdered and there was a Virgins at the same time. And the next time there's a Virgins is in 87 years and a bunch more people die. No one in episode 1 brought that up. And there's the whole Anakin never brings up Ahsoka. The events of episode 3 happen in like less than a week. So no one cares. He didn't have time. He mentioned her off screen, probably. And also, that was a kid's show.
Also, we now know that Venestra goes and talks to Master Yoda.
People are calling him a cameo. It's like, we expected him to be in this show. That's not a cameo. Yeah. A cameo, to me, has to be unexpected. A cameo can't be like...
We know that he's there.
Yeah, if they go into the council chamber and Yoda's there, I'm not going to be like...
But you know, I bet it's not Yoda. I bet it's Yodel. Is it Yodel?
It's Yaddle.
Yaddle. That
Yaddle would be alive.
That sexy ass.
That sexy Bryce Dallas Howard green bitch.
Honestly, we could complain about this show till the cows come home. And
I don't know any cows.
That's my wife. Final review of the show.
Like, it doesn't look awful until you start seeing like that the sets are really cheaply made. If you compare it to House of the Dragon sets and what they're doing with the same amount of money.
Surely House of the Dragon is using 10 times the budget though, right?
It's the same, probably. If first season was less, it just feels small, cramped, pointless. Again, Osha and May do not change from the first episode to the last episode. Osha is literally just like, oh, all these same things, but I'm evil now. Like, I killed my master and I'm evil now. I don't care about anyone. They killed a bunch of people. Like, they killed Yord and Jackie still. I'm still annoyed about that. It was shocking in the moment, but as it went on, it's just like, they didn't change or alter the trajectory of the story in any way. They didn't change any characters. Like, Osha hasn't thought about Jackie at all. Like, it seemed like they were really setting up a connection there in episode 1 and 2. And then Osha just forgets about Jackie as soon as she died. She says, did you kill Sol? No. Did you kill May? No. Doesn't ask about the other countless Jedi. Like,
she grew up with Yord. Yeah, they think there'd be something there.
She hugged him when she saw him. She was like, holy shit, Yord. Until he tried to arrest her. But they were like, Yord's apprentice was like there in the first thing, then vanishes. Rewatching the first episode annoyed me the most because Sol says to Jackie when they leave on their mission to go find the suspected Jedi assassin that also did a prison break, according to everything they know.
Yeah.
They bring Yord, who's been a knight for 2 years, and Jackie, an apprentice, on her first mission. He says, this isn't what I had in mind for your first mission. So Jackie's missions go... hunt down Jedi assassin, go to planet to protect Jedi master, and fight Jedi assassin and Jedi assassin's master. She should not have gone on any of those other missions once they knew who May was. You would normally say, yes, a Jedi Padawan will go on any mission that their master goes on. But where the hell is Yord's apprentice?
Yeah.
Like, if you were going by, oh, Jackie has to go because that's the rules, you stick with your master and you have to go through all the bullshit that they go through.
The show is Swiss cheese.
Yeah, if you think about anything, it falls apart. But Because it's lacking so much stuff, people are really getting behind it on the Raylo side of things because they're putting their own headcanon in there. So it's not really that there's much story there, that they're loving it and they're like, this is what we really needed to see because it really shows the flawed Jedi. It's like, you want to be beaten over the head with unsubtle things. Like, that's what you want.
Like, even Ahsoka had a more cohesive story than this.
Yes.
And I hated Ahsoka. But at least it felt like every episode flowed into every episode.
Yes.
And also the flashback episode was badass.
Even though it had a massive bloat and kind of like needs a season 2 to have done anything, at least, yeah, people weren't changing their mind constantly. Like May and Osha make different decisions every single second of the day. So the fact that Osha is now evil is on character because she just flip-flops so much.
Yeah.
Anyway,
tell us what you thought about the show. If you loved it, tell us why, and don't say fight choreography.
Yes, say why you like this show without saying fight choreography. I dare you.
Well, thank God we're done with that. Now I can be done with this.